A 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas. I wanna wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. Okay, so that's my introduction.
Love it, Rob. Love it, man.
Wow. I don't think it's too early, right, for Christmas?
No,
like,
it is not, man.
If it's in
November.
October,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But you know what?
No.
Well done, man.
Thanks, guys.
Perfect.
Well
It's like my favorite Christmas song.
I feel like it's Christmas now.
Okay.
I love Christmas, by the way.
Same here.
That was Rob,
yeah.
our special guest today from
Thanks,
Galaxy
guys.
Plumbing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, first off, where are we at, Cardino?
Where I just want to say, no wonder he likes Christmas. That's where all the pipes blow.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We got you covered, eh? We got you covered.
We're getting ahead of ourselves, man.
Cha-ching.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. So, Mark, thank you again, man.
Unbelievable.
The unofficial
Please,
home.
guys, if you guys are looking for any kind of roofing or siding or flashing or
Meet him in the gym,
downspouts,
workout, tattoos.
or you want some crazy ass tattoos, Mark from Skylux, please
All
give
right.
him a call.
Thanks again, Mark, for this unofficial home of the construction life. Thank you to all the listeners that are growing every single friggin' day. How people are reaching out and thanking us for doing this show. How it's so real and they believe in what we have to say.
But even more important, let's change this industry to be a respectful industry again.
1,000%. Back to our special guest here, who's in awe. He's in awe of this space. So,
Thanks, guys.
Santa Claus. Tell us more. Tell us a lot more. Okay, you got to take us way back, Rob.
Okay.
Way back.
Okay.
Where it all began.
Now I'm in the hot seat, so.
No. Tell us. Come on. How long you been in plumbing? How long you
I've
been
been
in
in
plumbing?
plumbing now, I think, like 21 years.
Whoa. Wait. Hang on a sec. How old are you?
I am 39. I'm like almost 40.
We're still. Yeah. Well, we're past that point.
Okay.
Don't worry. Your body's gonna change now as of next year, man.
Okay. Well,
It's the 40.
hoping-
It
I'm
really
40.
is.
The 40, man.
I never believed it. I was like a horse at 40. Everything started.
Well, guys, thanks for enlightening me to that.
No. Welcome to 40.
Well, I think that's why I just joined a gym. It's more of a high intensity kind of
you
gym.
got to do it, man. Seriously.
Got to.
Your body's going to
You
fall
don't need
apart
it.
if you do not work out, man. Seriously,
You're
it's
in
going
good
to fall
shape,
apart.
dude.
Thanks, brother. I have to be, man. I'm constantly like running around here, up there.
I've seen you in shirts, man. You're in good shape,
Thanks,
dude.
brother. I try, man. It's all that pipe, you know?
You guys want me to leave?
Sorry.
No. We want you to stay.
Can we get back to the
love
backstory?
Yes, sir.
Manny.
I
Yes, sir.
want to
We
know.
love Manny.
I want to know more about Rob. Tell us, Rob.
So, guys, I guess it all started when I was, 18, just like every other 18-year-old, high school.
Finished high school.
Yeah, or just getting close to finishing high school. And, the big questions are coming. The teachers, your parents, you, and you're like, what are you going to do with your life? I don't know. I think ultimately I was just like, I kind of liked, constructing things just like some other kids or most kids. And so, yeah, I would probably say I loved cars, still love cars. But I would say on the grand scheme of things, it's just like, they don't really make the most amount of money, for their passion. And I would probably say I looked at plumbing as like this big puzzle. It looked like kind of Lego. And I was like, I kind of want to do something I love, but something that's still kind of, is gonna pay some good money. And plumbing,
Plumbers make good money.
they were
Plumbers are respected.
yeah, and they were one of the top pick trades or top paid trades.
Still to this day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
They also have one other thing.
Yes, sir.
This is a fact because there was a
This is gonna be
survey.
good.
They're their most promiscuous trade.
Are they?
That's
Oh
what
my
I was
God.
told through a survey.
They're always playing with their pipe.
What? I'm just saying that they're the ones that actually cheat on their significant other.
I could see that.
Yes, they are.
Oh, I could see
and
that.
don't you guys hate me, all you other plumbers out there. I am just stating a fact of a survey that I read. That out of all the trades, they were number one.
Well, I can say when I was younger, I would agree, and I was number one with that for sure.
But I think in general, I think that's all of us, and it didn't mean that you were in plumbing.
It didn't
Do
matter.
not group me into that mix, okay?
Yeah,
so
but,
you're 18 years old. You get into plumbing?
No, I took a co-op course with school, and I started with some commercial plumbing company and did some hours there.
How was that first week?
It was different going from like getting up up, I think it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, showing up to some dark shop or something like that.
Discovering that there's 2 6s in a day.
Yeah. And like going into some really old truck with some dude and stuff, you know, which was really weird. But So I did that, and then ultimately I think the boss told me, and I still remember till this day, he's like, dude, great effort, but he's like, I don't think you're made to be a plumber.
Wow.
You know,
Is that
he's
what
like,
he said?
yeah, he really did say that. He's like,
why did he say that?
Well, you know what? I like, as you guys can see, I'm a pretty small dude, and when I was in high school, 18 years old, I was pretty scrawny, pretty small guy. And mind you, we were doing kind of commercial kind of plumbing, so bigger stuff, heavier stuff. He kind of looked at me. He's like, I think you're struggling, and I don't think this is for you. So I was like, okay.
Honestly, really?
Yeah, honestly. So I was like, okay, man, great. Like, you know, I'm glad like you voiced your opinion, but I'm gonna move on. And so anyway, so long story short, I basically went snooping around, and from a friend of mine that knew somebody, I got into a residential company, plumbing, doing mass production subdivision homes, and that's where I started at 18 years old. You know,
How was that first week?
oh, buddy,
Like night and day difference?
Oh, night and day difference. Let me tell you the biggest difference. Okay, so the first day on the job, what happens? So we're doing a finishing. I'm assisting the, journeyman plumber. We're carrying in toilets, tanks into the house. We get set up. We do the finishing. I'm helping the guy, this and that. Get ready to turn on the water. We're testing. All of a sudden, what's happening? The shower drain is legitimately backing up. Like someone I'm not even kidding.
Stuff like blocked it?
Yeah, blocked
Purposely.
it. This is a brand new subdivision house. Somebody legitimately took a shit.
No!
I'm not even kidding,
No.
dude. No, I'm not even kidding. Took a shit in the drain. It was backing up. Okay, we had to like snake the drain in a brand new house. Okay, so that was my first day on the job. And then going into the basement to test houses, you have to put test caps in the cleanouts. So if you forget to take those out when we're doing bathtubs, and this is subdivisions, you have to take those test caps out at finishing time. So guess what's in them? I don't know what could be in them other than possibly urine.
Yeah.
So you're
'cause
getting
it's mostly urine.
Yeah, so you're getting the teeth of your hammer and you're knocking it in and stuff like that. So yeah, that was my first day/week into the plumbing trade.
And you did it.
I did it, man.
Yeah.
I did it, man.
And that
Like,
was 20 years ago.
that was 20 years ago. I think it's going to be almost 21 years ago pretty soon. Wow. Yeah. Wow. So yeah.
So that was your introduction to plumbing. And you haven't looked back.
I haven't.
You stayed passionate in plumbing.
I am.
So
I
how
am
long is it
passionate.
that you've been on your own? How long have you been on your own?
Galaxy Plumbing's been out 5 years now.
Where's the name from?
Funny story. So Galaxy Plumbing, my ex-fiance.
Dum.
Yeah. So she was the original one to coming up with the name. We were out
You're
for dinner.
giving credit to the ex?
Hey,
I am going to give her credit. Yeah, I'm going to give her credit. I'm only going to give her credit for that. I'm only going to give her credit for that.
They inspire us and they have amazing ideas.
You know what? I think when she saw me...
Well, hang
and-
on a sec. Wait. Carlito.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, so I don't know. I probably want to say maybe when she saw me, she's probably like, this guy's passionate. He loves what he does. And she came up with the Galaxy Plumbing, and it kind of stuck. We both were like, okay, this is the name, And I think ever since then, I've always looked at that name. When I look at it, I'm like, wow, this represents something big. It's grand. It represents something, like longevity.
So where
The future.
Yeah, the future, right?
Where is she?
We are no longer together, So that's another story in itself. Let's just say
That's a different podcast.
that's going to be a
He's
different
looking for some
podcast.
meat.
Yeah, well, the meat was
no.
Okay, so quick times before we get off that subject. I was legitimately supposed to get married this summer. Some stuff happened. It was, what was it, like a month before the wedding, and I had to call it, and I called it, and I was like,
Whoa.
listen, I can't do this, and that was it.
Wow.
So
you know what? Good for you, because you need to stay happy.
you need to stay happy, and I think at the end of the day, you really, really, your gut.
You got to follow it.
And yeah, as much as you want to say, no, this time it's wrong.
First week literally was a shitty week.
You know what?
He wanted to say that.
It was.
But trust me, I've had my fair share working on renos, and we're in the basement breaking the concrete, looking for the clay pipe.
Yeah.
That's how old the house is.
Yeah.
And then trying to cut the clay pipe nice and clean.
Never.
And then all of a sudden you hear water.
Yeah.
And you're like, what do you mean? Why were you here? And we told the clients not to flush anything,
Yeah.
not to drain anything.
Yeah.
And we start to panic. So it's
Yeah.
like, that's the only part where you look at it and you go, you know what? That office job ain't looking that bad anymore.
It's true.
You know
It's
what I mean?
almost like that point in Indiana Jones when the water's coming and
Yes.
it's just like from you looking back and the thing's chasing you, right? Like, oh shit, we're fucked now. Right?
So you're doing that. So how long was it? When did Galaxy start?
So Galaxy started 5 years ago. So I would probably say the reason why Galaxy started is I was a union plumber for 17 years. Wow. So I did anything from low-rise residential, was mass production subdivision homes for 10 years, then moved into a bit of, what'd you call it, commercial, ICI. And then I went to, because the big movement happened. So there was a shift in 2007, 2008, where everything went from low-rise residential to really high-rise residential, where the condos really started to explode. And kind of went where the work was, where the money was. And that's kind of where I stayed for probably another 7 years. I would probably say for probably 7 or 8 years, I was probably very unhappy. I literally would wake up every morning like a zombie, go to the same job site, same...
What was it? Was it the environment?
Yeah. The environment, man.
I'm just saying,
I
man.
know, but you know what? He did something really smart here. And
Yeah.
I don't want to get into your business, but
No.
did you get credits while you were in the union?
Credits
do you,
in what
Do
sense?
you have your retirement package already? 17
yeah,
years.
yeah,
That's
but-
like 30 credits.
Oh, yeah, and
that means you already have your retirement ready.
I did. I grabbed it and I said, thank you very much. I'm going to take my money. I'm going to take it out and you'll never see me again. Because, everyone's telling you, Rob, you should maybe keep paying your union dues. So I did it for like a year and then I was like, listen, I'm never coming back.
Did you reinvest properly?
I did. Yeah,
Excellent.
you have to. The only way to pull
Excellent.
out a pension is it has to be in an invested retirement kind of scenario.
Good for you, because
Yeah.
that's a long time
Yeah.
in a
You
in a
ain't,
company.
trust me, you ain't gonna retire with no friggin', you ain't gonna be driving no beautiful vehicle, living in a friggin' nice fancy house, that pension. No thanks.
No, but it's better than the guys not doing anything at all.
Of course.
Right.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably was the hardest part about being a union plumber and a worker like that, because you have a benefits, you have a pension, you have old school mentality like my family. Hey, you got a great job. Why aren't you happy? You should be happy. People would kill for a job.
So it was
like
the
this.
environment. The environment is what was killing you, killjoy.
I think, the environment, ultimately, I can't be on a job site for 2 years or a year. The same people, the same attitude, the same conversations.
What is this? Okay, what is the attitude? What is it?
You know what? I don't want to paint everybody with the same brush, because I think it would be ultimately unfair. But let's just say
I
that
agree.
there's a
agree.
lot of guys that don't show up to work because
They carry themselves.
carry themselves like they're there because they love what they do and they represent, they want to do the job and do it right and stand for something. Their attitude is like, I got to be here for 8 hours. Let me see what's the longest way I can get to my station. Wow. Let's make some conversation. Let's do this.
And you know what? I think that there's a lot of that going on. My experience with unions, hardest working guys I've seen. They can change you to be, and I wanted to ask you this. Did you work so hard at the union that it made you a better owner of your business? You know how some people own their business and they're slow, they don't know how to get a speed going. When you work for a union company, you got to go all day. You're on the clock and you got to keep rolling.
You know what? I would say I got that from the low-rise residential sector, and I would probably say I'm very grateful for that. Because of that, I had to go. We had to move. There was time clocks. You would have to go in. It was almost like going into for confession with the priest. You would literally go to work, load up the truck, go there, kill it for the day. You'd have to show up, back at the shop, drop the truck off, then report back to the owner. It'd be like, hey, what'd you do today? Well, I did so-and-so. Yeah, that's all you did today. You didn't want to hear why and why you couldn't finish something, this and that. So it was that kind of scenario. So I would probably say, because I was in that environment, that caused me to motor. It's like you had to fly and there was no excuses for nothing. It's like, listen, if something's not going right, figure it out and get it done, because when you go back to the shop, he's going to want to know why it's not done.
Interrogation, huh?
Oh, buddy, it was intense.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're a number to him.
100%. We're
you
tools.
always are, aren't you?
We're tools. We're tools.
I could not survive there. I'm sorry, but I could not survive.
In the
So-
union, you are a number.
You are. And I think ultimately, I think you're a tool. And as long as that tool is in great condition, it works and it does what it's
it's
supposed to
doing
do.
yeah, exactly.
It's
Well said.
providing, then it works. If not, then you got to go and we're going to get somebody else in.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of how it goes.
So 7 years ago, you went. You had enough.
I would say 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
5 years ago, I would say my ex-boss, if I ever saw him, I would say, thank you so much for being the worst employer I've ever worked for. because of that, I can truly say I'm so grateful because it was that where I made a decision. And it's like, listen, if I'm going to do plumbing for the rest of my life, because for a long time I was like, maybe I got to quit plumbing. Like, I don't think this is for me. Maybe I got to pick something.
So while you're doing the union gigs.
Yeah, I was for probably 2-3 years. I was like, okay, I gotta find something else to do because I can't do this anymore. Like that $1,400 at the end of the week, that check. After a while, it gets old. It's like when you're doing something just for money and you look at that check, it's like this is it. This is it. This is my life. 40 hours for this. Ultimately,
He drove you to go on your own.
yeah, basically I said not another minute, not another day. And I was like, I would leave work. I would jump in my truck in every hole in the ground. I would drive around homes, areas, older areas, every hole in the ground. I'd call the contractor. Hey, I'm Rob from Galaxy Plumbing. How you doing? What's it going to take for you to give us a shot to estimate your job? What's it going to take to this? How can I help you? How can I do this? What can I do? As soon as I secured a few jobs, I was like, I'm done. I'm like, guys, thank you so much. You'll never see me again.
Was it easy for the guys to give you a shot?
You know what?
Because you're cold calling these guys and you're just going.
I was not even cold calling. I would just show up to the job site and I would just go up to them and introduce myself.
Wow.
I'm like, hey, who's in charge here? Who's the owner? Blah, 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 blah.
That's some balls, no?
Yeah, I guess.
No,
No,
that's
it is.
business.
That's balls, man.
That's business.
I think that's a
You're
guy.
a go-getter.
I think that's a guy who's going to make it happen no matter what, you
Yeah.
know?
I like it.
And that's what I did.
Drive, man.
Yeah, I
Inspiration.
did that. And once I figured out
People see you're hungry. They want
yeah,
that.
and that's why I think a lot of people, when they see somebody that presents themselves in a good way, I think they want to give somebody a chance, you know, because remember, one thing in relationships always change. And I think as contractors, I think a lot of contractors want to have a good set of trades in their inner circle.
Of course.
So if maybe they don't use you on this job, it's good to have you for the second job, even as communication. Hey, we're doing this. What do you think? What's your input? You know, it's good to have some good people around
Totally
you.
agree, man. Totally agree
So-
on that.
Before we get too far, after working for this guy, quitting and moving on,
What's his name,
did
Eddie?
you? Did you?
No, he's
treat-
Italian. Well, mind you, Eddie is Italian. so-
Eduardo?
Did you end up treating your guys better? Did you learn something from the way he treated you, and did you share that positive energy now with the guys that worked for you?
Okay, so that's a tricky one. So I would say the path that I'm on now is a path of taking that approach. And I think ultimately when I did leave, I think one thing I did take in my mind is one thing my mom always said: don't ever forget where you came from. I'll always remember that. And the second thing is because of where I've come from in that background, I think why I did leave is I've always wanted to look at when I have a very large scale company is, you know, take that and learn from that. This is not the way you get people motivated to work for you. Like, you don't have to belittle a person to get them. You are not going to get them to work for you and be excited to work for you by belittling them.
Yeah.
And
There's no reason to treat a person like that.
No.
Well,
And even,
there are sometimes.
oh, you know what? There's a difference.
When
though.
people are taking advantage of you, or employees are taking advantage of you, there's a fine line.
There's a fine line. I think everyone.
You're trying to make money. You're trying
Yes.
to survive. You're not bringing someone to work just for them to work. They need to make you some money.
And I think it's okay because everyone should get ripped here and there, you know,
Yep.
and I think it's normal. But I feel like there's a time and a place. And I feel like if you are going to rip somebody pretty good, I think it should be not around a group of people. If you want to take somebody aside, have a word with them.
I completely agree
You know,
with that.
and that's
you
cool
never
because-
do it. You never do it in front of the crew.
Yes.
You never do it.
Yes.
And that's why I've seen clients do that, and I lay into the client, man.
You know
I
what?
I take them off the side site and I explain what they just did wrong, because you can't do that. You just change the environment of the job site now.
Well, also
course,
the relationship between the guys and that person. They might jump to conclusion, and now because someone said you're an idiot, everyone thinks you're an idiot.
Yes.
And it's an ongoing joke, and it turns into you're an idiot.
Yeah, I know.
And then pretty soon, you're an idiot.
Well, you know what, guys? I was actually thinking about that today. It's funny. Like, I had an apprentice before. He was a great apprentice, great kid. We had a falling out, and that was more at the beginning of the company. I was thinking about it afterwards. Now, looking back, now that I'm doing a lot of work on myself as a leader, as an employer, I thought about it. It's like, instead of the way I handled the situation, what I should have did was took the approach of, how can I help you be successful at this position? Take that approach first and encourage them that way, and then kind of do that first, rather than kind of blow up on somebody and tell them, hey, guess what? You're off for the rest of the week. But at the same time, it's a tough one. When you tell somebody in a nice way as an employee, hey man, I think you should buy yourself a tool belt. I think it's beneficial. You tell them once, twice, 3 times. Then you see them working out of their sweater and their fittings are falling. There comes to a point where it's like, listen, I think you're going to get it right now. You live and learn.
What's the reason why they don't want to get the tool belt? You think they're just not caring about the trade and they don't want to commit to themselves?
No, you know what I think it was? I think where the approach is I almost wanted to cradle the apprentice as his dad, like, be nice and this and that. And there's a way to be nice, but still being stern.
Yes.
Like, hey man, you need a tool belt. I'm going to give you this weekend. You got to get it. And we're not negotiating here.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what? Snickers has got a really good tool vest, eh? Lots of pockets.
Yeah, a lot of pockets,
Plug.
Yeah.
But you know what? I've actually taken a different approach with apprentices now. Now, usually every time I'm going to hire somebody, I'm usually like, when we meet, I want to see your tools. Bring your tools, because I need to look at them. Because I can tell that a lot by what kind of a person you are.
Okay, Rob. So now that you brought it up,
yes, and then I have something to say.
go ahead, Carlito.
So, what is your choice of tools and color? Dun, da, da, dun, da, da, dun,
I'm Team Red.
Team Red?
You can tell he's a Milwaukee
I'm
boy.
Team Red,
You
yeah.
can
I
tell
knew it.
he's
You
a
know
Milwaukee.
what? On my
He's
plumbing,
in plumbing.
yeah, I have plumbing tools. Milwaukee has the best, by far the best plumbing tools.
I think they've always catered to the plumbing trade.
Mechanical.
Yeah, exactly.
You knew it, eh?
And he's right. Like, to be honest with you, when I was like a first year apprentice, man, that's when my first whole hog was. And that's where I learned very early on, like, you need to respect this tool.
That's a serious tool.
Serious tool. That tool will take your face off.
Oh, when my plumber, he got the latest one with the 9 amp.
Okay.
It almost twists my arm. I was like, dude, what is with this thing, man? Like, you didn't warn me about this thing. What's going on here, man?
Picture that thing corded.
Oh, Jesus, man. It had power. Like, it had power, man. So
picture that with a 2 5/8 Milwaukee self-feed auger bit. When that thing jams, buddy, you bet. So the trick is the trick is to hit the trigger with the bit in and see which way it's going to catch. And the trick is which way you know it's going to catch, you put the handle against a stud. That way you're not pushing, you're just letting the drill do the work.
Oh, and that's when the mutter has to repair the pops.
No. This is more of a new construction kind of environment type of thing. So yeah, I would say I'm a Team Red kind of dude. I would say all the tools have their place.
I totally agree with that.
Like DeWalt, I would probably say if I was a carpenter and I was building decks or framing, I'd probably be doing DeWalt. I'd probably do DeWalt. Their drills are so nice and small and light. It's like, this is really like easy to.
I'm a Bosch guy. I like their drills.
Okay,
You're a
Bosch.
Bosch guy.
You know what? I like Bosch's spade bit. I use
the devil blades, the dirt devil, whatever. What are they called?
I guess just a regular spade bit, 1/8". That's kind of one of my go-tos.
It's funny you say that, because a lot of my extensions and like for my spades, they're all from Bosch.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Their chipping gun, my rotary drill, it's Bosch. Team Red or Bosch. I went with Bosch because I'm
every brand makes great tools.
All of them do. And all of them do. All of them do.
But like Carlito has said before, as long as the tool works for you as a tradesperson and it's making you money, that's just the reality.
100%.
We just have fun with this.
We
Guys,
just have fun.
Guys,
We always
I'm not gonna lie. I can honestly tell you from a guy, I'm so glad in the era that I was born and the era that I started plumbing, because I've been very fortunate to start plumbing when we were still using copper. And all the subdivision homes that I started on were all copper. So, and I would say that was at the point where probably 4 years later, that's when we were making the transition into Kitech. We did our first first townhouse complex on King Street, which was all steel. They were prefabricated steel. That's when we started with Kitech.
Let's get right into it. I prefer copper. I was fortunate enough to be invited to a manufacturer's facility. I won't say any names or anything like that, but they had a beautiful test wall, and I was in awe of this test wall. So on this wall, they had every imaginable copper and every imaginable plastic fitting, pipe and everything like that. And this test wall would show you exactly what the flow and pressure was for each one. Before even knowing any of this information, I already knew that the interior diameter of copper was always greater than the exterior diameter of plastic, and the flow was always greater. So even though copper has better flow, more volume, we still do the plastic, right?
Well, let's talk about that. All of our cities now are made of plastic.
But
like all our city lines.
residential custom homes, though, I'm big. You tell me, Rob, but I'm big on bringing in a 3/4, if you can, even 1 inch into showers.
1 inch for sure.
Standalone for showers, and having that volume for the showers. You can take care of 1/2 inch for the rest of the fittings, right? Because you don't need the flow there. But for showers, I really want to see that massive amount of water coming into those showers, because my clients are asking for more than 4 or 5 heads in a shower. They need that volume. What are your thoughts on this?
Ooh, you know what? I love these kind of conversations because they really like make you think, and
Well,
the
it's all
ideas.
personal, right?
Yeah, you know what? Like it's. I would say you really got to look at I think every project's got to be looked at his own individual project, and what, like you're saying, what the clients.
Okay.
What are their expectations?
I'll give you. So I've got a 12-inch rain head. I've got 3 body sprays, and I've got a hand shower and a shower. How are you fitting those out? So obviously you're doing a balanced loop for the body sprays, right?
Yeah.
What volume are you going to bring to the shower heads?
My standard, every custom home that we do, my standard is 3/4 inch right up to the shower.
Right up to the shower.
That's just standard.
Then you're going to split off into halves?
Yeah, we'll go 3/4 inch right in, and then split 1/2 inch into the shower control, because most of the shower controls, these are what the customers buy. They're 1/2 inch shower controls, the inlets. So that's what we'll go with. But if they were 3/4, we would go 3/4.
Yes. Okay, so Kohler has a DTV 3/4 setup.
Okay, beautiful.
Right, so you bring in 3/4, you
right
can
in.
actually come out in 3/4.
Beautiful.
Then you're going 3/4 to each fixture. I personally love making the pipe dance a few meters before it gets into the body sprays, specifically the body sprays.
Okay.
Because people want that volume hitting, right? I don't want it to look like a limp dick.
When you say dance, what does that actually mean?
Or add more length. So you bring that, you tell me, but because this is what I learned from that trip to that manufacturer, that there's a difference between, listen, you're a licensed plumber, I'm not, but I read and I take a look and I get invited to these events and these other things, and they show me. If you add 1 meter of extra 3/4 after a 1/2 inch, and then that 1 meter goes right into the fixture, you're increasing the volume. I don't know what it is, but you are increasing the volume into that fixture.
Really?
By adding 1 meter of 3/4 instead of going 1/2 inch directly into the fixture. I take that dance and I don't do 1 meter. I'll do 2 to 3 meters more.
Okay, so when you're saying going into that fixture, are you taking the 3/4 inch another 2 meters, as you're saying, but are you hard capping it, or are you bringing it back?
I'm looping it and bringing it back to the fixture.
Okay.
So I'm creating more volume and more pressure before it actually expels from the actual fixture.
Interesting.
And it does work.
Interesting.
It does work. This is a fact that it does work by adding. So it's more work. It's more material.
Yeah.
I prefer copper, but it does give you more volume, more flow, more pressure.
Interesting. That is cool.
I think while we're on this, one of the big things I see people failing with all the time is people will have an older home, a cookie cutter home. You know, there'll be 1/2 inch lines typically in most of these
Teed
homes.
off.
Most people buy a big shower head, big rain shower head, thinking they're going to get this beautiful rain effect. That what they don't know is that you have to have a 1 or 3/4 inch line to those shower heads.
What they also don't know, and you can correct me, Rob, they purposely block that shower head with air. A rain head is not about pressure falling, it's about droplets falling. That's a huge difference. People have a hard understanding about, like, clients specifically. They don't get it that I'm under the shower head and all I feel are like little droplets. I'm like, kind of like a rain, you motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how it is, right?
Yeah.
So they purposely put air. When I'm talking about volume, I want to see an increase in volume in the hand shower and in body sprays.
100%.
That's critical for me, because when people use body sprays, they use it at the end of the shower or in certain sexual situations.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Carlito woke up.
Hi.
Hey.
and they need that volume. They need that strength. So when I see a shower head or a water tile or a body spray on a vertical application, you want it to shoot almost horizontally. You do not want it to go down.
Even aside from the whole being a lot less volume, when you start doing too much half inch when it comes to that, you actually, the heads actually almost come out with more piercing kind of pressure at times.
Yeah.
And it's, instead of it being relaxing and having that volume, like you're saying, like there's an abundance of water, it's more like air kind of pushing you with water behind it, you know, type of thing. And you don't really want that with body sprays.
I'm loving all this, man. Like, this is okay. Let me ask you, what is your favorite? Do you have a favorite regarding plumbing fixtures? Like, who makes them? All I know is I'm just going to do this, and I don't give a shit, because I've actually said this to the company directly. I find it odd that Moen has a replacement part wall at Home Depot.
Yeah. Okay.
I find that odd. Like, that you're selling a product and then you have replacement
meant to
parts.
fail.
It's meant to fail. When other
I say
companies,
that?
yeah, you said that, Carlito. When other companies like Kohler, because I do like Kohler, right? That if something does fail or something does go wrong, you call them up and you give them the part number, and they'll actually coordinate. They'll tell you the spec drawings, and they'll tell you what O-ring, what adapter, whatever, and they will ship it to you, and you can replace it.
Moen's really good like that. I would probably say to most clients, if you're going to buy an inexpensive kind of plumbing product, I always say Moen or Delta. It's very easily accessible. You could go into a Home Depot. You can get the part if you're in a jam.
Let's face it, it's about budget and being
Yeah,
realistic
and
with what you have. Not everybody has a high... Not a lot of people have money saved. And
But
have
listen,
money to
guys,
do
you
things
know
like
what? Every manufacturer has good products and bad products.
Yes.
Look, Kohler, love their look. If you're going to ask me about their toilets, some of their toilets, I don't know if I'm going to tell you I really like them.
Whose toilet do you like?
You know what? There's so many good toilets. I don't know. A Toto. You know, a Toto's good. It looks good. I don't know. I like American Standard.
Remember, this is all personal opinion.
Yeah, this is.
Everybody's
I don't know.
different. So
No, but you've installed X amount of toilets, so many different brands of toilets.
You know what?
what works for you? How about that question? What works for you?
I would say some of the Totos are pretty good. American Standard's got some really cool toilets that I really like. I don't know, even Kohler, they got some nice toilets. I don't really like some of their systems that they have designed with the toilets, but I think every manufacturer's got their flaws, you know? I don't know, it's really hard to really say.
You know what? I'm American Standard and Kohler myself.
Yeah, like...
What are you thinking about all these extremely luxurious toilets? These 20,000, 10,000.
I love
I'm not gonna lie, that Kohler toilet, that toilet there is amazing. Like, I'll tell you right now.
Did you see that?
I'll tell you right now.
Are you ready
like,
to trade in your Harley?
Why is it amazing? Why is it amazing?
Come on, look at the technology behind it.
It's insane.
Yeah, it is insane.
It's insane that it looks that small and it has all those features in
Yeah,
it. Right?
it's beautiful.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not denying it.
I'm not gonna lie. When I'm in the market for a $10,000 toilet, I'm gonna buy one. You know, like I'm
but
gonna
think
buy
about
one.
this: your guest washer.
I've never
People
taken
come over
any business
and
on a
they're like-
$10,000 toilet. I've never taken any business on a $10,000 toilet.
Three guys here. Doesn't matter if there was girls or guys here. Most of my best thinking and best business is done on the toilet.
Why not?
I swear.
half
People
my-
say to me, "Why do you sit in your shit, bro?" And I'm like, "Best time to think. No one bothers
Yeah, it's relaxing.
Half of my social media posts happen on the toilet,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
It's
It could be very
it's time.
therapeutic.
Yeah, it's time, man.
Yeah, you're sitting there anyways. Might as well make it like worth something.
You know,
I'm gonna pull a Manny. That's
What?
so shitty.
No, but I've got to say that when they started introducing to the mainstream heated toilet seats, I fell in love, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm sorry, but like the extra cost of a heated toilet seat in the wintertime, it just feels so fucking nice.
I believe it, and how it opens up at nighttime. You don't have to worry about, am I shooting in the bowl? Am I missing? Like, come on, man.
Rob,
seriously?
bidet or toilet paper?
Every day.
I'm not a bidet kind of guy. Like I don't think I'll ever.
You know,
will
it
be.
is
I
cleaner.
like it.
You do admit to that.
I like it.
Oh,
cleaner.
it's cleaner. It's cleaner. You know,
I like it.
Yeah, I love
you
it.
know, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think
clean,
I think
baby.
that's passe. Like I think
But it's
like,
personal.
in North America. I think it's passe. Like when I was doing subdivision homes when I first started, buddy, that was a luxury, eh?
Yeah.
Like if you had a bidet
Major
in your major, buddy, we're
Or
putting
have both.
Yeah, or just a rough-in. Holy shit, they got a rough-in for a bidet?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, you know what, guys? I'm not going to lie. I really like the wall-mounted toilets.
Do you really?
Yeah, I like them because...
I do not like them for one reason.
Why?
There is movement.
There
I
is.
don't give a shit what you say, and I know that most of the companies have tested it with 300-pound people. There is movement. I don't care what you say, and you can never park those against just drywall. You can't. And you put a bead of caulking or whatever, it's going to crack over time.
100%.
If you put it against tile, you will crack that tile. There is movement, and there's no way to get around that fractional movement, and that's the number one reason why I don't like it. And I get it. It's smaller. It's more compact. It's closer in. It's
For
tighter.
powder room, I think it makes sense.
And,
I think it
and
makes
easier to clean underneath.
Yeah, especially if you're a type of person that likes to have parties and stuff like that. I think the powder room is really where I would have it. If you asked me for my master ensuite, it probably wouldn't be a wall.
So you're
hung.
saying it's good for powder rooms for
I think
guests?
I think it's good. No, it just has a main bathroom, especially if it's like a smaller home. I think it makes sense. It gives a lot of airiness to the powder room, you know, and it's easy to clean if you got kids, if you got company over, just kind of get a mop, go around it. I even try and do that with all the toilet supplies, the water supply for the toilets. I always come out of the wall, clear up the space.
What happened? Why were all the guys coming out of the floor with the toilet supplies? What was all that? Just pure laziness, man?
No, you know, that's just the way we were taught, man.
From the floor?
Yeah.
See,
Well,
I don't like
when
it
we
for
were-
waterproofing.
Yeah.
For the
Oh,
whole
of
purpose of
course.
waterproofing.
Yeah.
Of course. And to be honest with you, that's how we were taught in subdivision homes. You come up through the floor, and it was a straightforward measurement. It was like 6 and 6 or 6.5 and 6.5.
time.
Well,
now
You were doing copper back then, right?
we were doing copper back
And
then.
if that's on an outside wall, no one was using spray foam,
No.
so it's gonna
That's what I
be a
was gonna
burst
say.
point, right?
100%, 100%. And to be honest with you, nowadays, whenever I go into renovations, that the toilet's usually the first thing I look for when we're having a conversation. Like, hey guys, we're renovating this, but the toilet's staying. Right away, I'll already look at the toilet supply because most people don't look at the toilet supply until afterwards. How about if you get a certain kind of toilet, it's skirted? You go and try and put it on. All of a sudden, the supply's there.
It's in the way.
Yeah, it's in the way. So that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Okay, like this toilet supply, try and keep it at 9.5 off the center or 10 inches because you don't know sometimes unless
I like that a lot of companies, I think, I'm going to guess maybe 6 or 7 years ago, started paying more attention to those toilet supply lines.
Yeah.
And putting a little bit more love into them.
Yeah.
Which
Dude.
made sense to me.
What really determines a good plumber for me is I'll bring in guys and they'll do plumbing. And when they leave, if they leave pecs hanging out the wall, I usually don't call them again.
Yeah, but
I
guys,
like copper.
I got one for you guys. Listen, you know what? Listen, I want to do copper coming out of the walls. I want to give everybody copper. I love it. But if I'm doing the whole house in PEX, I'm going to come out of the wall PEX. But remember, there's a difference. Some guys use coiled PEX. We don't use coiled PEX. The day I started
Okay, this is
Galaxy
interesting.
Plumbing, we don't use coiled PEX. So you could buy coils of PEX. They're 100-foot coils, 200-foot. We don't use
Home
that. That's
What
like
are you using?
we use straight lengths. That's all we use.
You're using straight lengths?
Yeah, straight lengths. That's all we order. Is straight length.
From whom?
From any plumbing supplier you can get them from. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that
that's
either.
That's all I use. You will never. The only time you'll catch me using a coil is if, like, say we're like, hey, we're doing a cabana or we're running 200 feet
Then
of a
you'll
straight
use
run.
this-
Yeah,
okay.
it makes sense. We're not going to use 100 couplings. But if I'm doing a house, I only order 20-foot
Are
lengths.
they male, female ended?
No, just regular half-inch, like you'd buy a stick of
Couplings,
copper.
that's
So
it.
you're saying
Yeah,
they stay
coupling.
rigid,
rigid,
straight.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
And the beauty of them is they have even more flexibility than a coil because they don't want to fight you.
Wow.
So if you're pulling a coil and you're pulling it out, what does it want to do? It wants to pull back.
Yes.
So for the life of that plastic, it wants to pull back. So you get a straight length. You can get that and twirl it around 100 times.
Well,
so that's where I'll use a nice stick of rigid PEX, come out of the wall, and then I dress it up with a rad snap.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah, man. Like,
I'm
come on, dude.
And I was leading to this.
Yeah, of course.
So my big thing is, and no one pays attention. I learned this earlier on in my years when I was putting in.
Last week?
No, but I do it all the time. When people put pedestals in, they never wrap it in chrome. Fake stuff.
Yeah.
So when I learned to put chrome packages on, I thought it was so beautiful.
It's amazing.
I put it on every toilet.
Yeah.
Underneath where no one can see. And when the homeowners go by and they go, this guy put chrome on there? And
guys, I think those details, those small details, I think subconsciously when you look at it, you don't know it.
Finishes it.
But if you looked at two different finishes without knowing it, you would be like, there's something different here.
Are you for or against the trim guys making the dance around the supply line?
You know, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
I don't.
Listen.
Really?
Listen.
Yeah, I don't.
I
Too
think
much.
it's cool.
I think
Listen,
it's
guys,
too much.
there's two different ways of roughing in toilet supplies, like the water supplies. So my rule of thumb is if we're dealing with a custom home, we're doing high ceilings, I keep the water line at about 4 3/4, 5 inches off the rough floor. So that way I like it coming out of the flat portion of the baseboard. So when you put the escutcheon on, it sits flat against the flat portion because every trim has got a flat portion before it goes wavy.
Yes.
If you're doing shorter ceiling like an older house or a basement, then you go high. Then you keep it at 8 or 9 because you're going to be in the drywall. You're going to miss the trim.
Some manufacturers are recommending where you should put that angle supply, right? They have crosshairs for it.
Yeah.
So they dictate where it's supposed to go, right?
Because some of the toilets.
And then at that point, when you're doing the rough in, have they shown you the baseboard? Have they given you a piece of it?
So usually what I'll do is with the custom home builders, I'll usually ask. I'm like, give me what are you
that.
using
That's a
here?
guy taking the initiative,
I'm like, what kind of baseboard are you using? Are we raising the floor here?
Look at
How
that.
much is it going to be
These
raised?
aren't questions
Those
that a
are
typical
critical
plumber.
details.
I know, but
You know what?
most plumbers wouldn't ask those questions. They
most
wouldn't.
plumbers
No,
are
he
rough.
does.
Guys.
So
I love this stuff though. Come on.
So the truth
true.
is I love what you said. It's either in the middle of the baseboard or I like to have it up high
Higher.
at 9 inches. If you're at Manny's sites, he's already
No,
going to
I
have
read the instructions, man.
He's going to have eccentric baseboards and casings.
But you know
Everything's
what?
going
If
to be
Manny
Victorian.
tells me that, like I would go through with Manny. We would have a discussion. Like, Manny, what are we doing here? What do you want to see? How do you want it?
And it should be that way.
Of course, it should
No,
be that way.
But is it fair to say that that's not the norm, guys?
You're right. Most plumbers just come in and they say, well, you never told me. What do you mean I never told you, bro? Like, okay, bye.
You know what, guys? I don't want to start this conversation because I don't want to go there, but I would say there's a difference between guys that are coming in just to smash some plumbing together and some guys that are coming in there. Ultimately, like, I feel like when it comes, one part about being in business and being in the industry that we're in is I love consulting with people.
Yeah.
I love the
Beautiful.
conversations.
You're a real businessman. That's why
Yeah,
you care.
I love it. It's like, of course,
You have
like,
pride.
I ultimately, at the end of the day, I want you to be happy. Obviously, nothing's ever perfect. We aim, like the aim is hit the 99.9%, hit it.
You're an anomaly, right? That's just a fact. Because the reality is that I love trades that take as much pride in the work that they do behind the wall as they do outside of the wall regarding the finishing. That is rare. That's just a fact. So I love seeing electricians laser line their drill holes to run their fucking
Beautiful.
wires.
Yeah, why not?
I love that you're asking questions about certain details that are going to happen later on because you figured I have to drill the hole anyway. I have to bring this pipe here anyway. So if you tell me that the crosshairs are going to be here or if they're going to be here, then I want to know where you
Of
want
course.
it.
Well, but why have the argument later?
Yes.
Why not have the conversation
Yes.
now?
Now.
But getting back to PEX, we started with something at the beginning and then we've been moving great.
Copper-
I love
copper
what
PEX?
I love what we're covering. I just really need to put this in, just
Yeah.
kind of get it off my soul here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Most
Let's
of
do it.
the cities now can change. And it's changed to PVC. Everything on our main streets is blue PVC, white PVC.
Yeah.
You know, everything's been changed and converted. No longer, there's some lead pipes still left here and there.
Oh, 100%
You
there
know,
is.
some
Come
cast. Why put copper in your home now and spend that money when you're not getting any health benefits? Like, if this was 50 years ago, I love copper. Don't get me wrong, Manny. I love copper for two reasons. Women need iron. Men need copper in their diets, okay? It's a fact. If you look into your house.
Yeah.
Copper is excellent for you, especially for men. Well, now we're pulling in all this fluoride through plastic pipes. We're not doing anything for ourselves.
It's true.
Another thing is that's really important is most guys can't solder, and especially large in commercial, they can't solder 2-inch pipe or 1.5-inch copper pipe. They burn everything. With PEX, any dummy can do it, but I'm not saying any dummy should do it.
I think that's the approach that a lot of uneducated, I would call them uneducated kind of contractors have taken the approach. Like, why would I hire a professional plumber when I could do plumbing? PEX has given everyone that idea like plumbing's kind of a joke.
No one should touch plumbing or electrical.
100%.
Or structural.
No one should
And
touch
gas.
any
And
trade.
if you don't have a license, if you don't have
Any
a license,
trade.
you're not certified, and you
Any
don't do it every day,
trade.
don't
Any
touch it.
trade.
100%. I would say, I'm gonna have to go with Manny. Yeah.
I respect your trade completely.
Any trade, and that also includes painting. I'm sorry to say,
You're right.
They're all professionals, in my opinion, and don't think because you watch some stupid show or you read a blog that you can do it. There's
right.
a reason
You're
why
right.
these guys are good at it. That's
But
all.
some
But
peop-
I agree with
Yeah.
you about the copper. I do agree with you about the copper. I just personally
But-
love the way it looks.
And I hate saying but because but always ends with bullshit. When I see wall full of copper going to a driveway, heated driveway.
Oh my God.
To in-floor heating.
I love it.
Honestly, I'm fully erected.
Same here. Like I get so excited. Like I would probably say like one thing I miss about copper. Like I love copper.
It's almost like it was someone in our life and they're gone.
But there's a lot of situations that we get in plumbing where I'm kind of like, I'm glad we have PEX because there's a lot of situations you're in some tight spots and you're like, God, I don't want to catch this place on fire. There's dry wood everywhere. But one thing I miss about copper, about doing copper every day, it really made you have to think when you did a layout. When you were roughing in, you had to visualize, how do I want to run my lines? Are we staying low so we can jump up? The trick is always jump up. So whenever you drain something, it always drains to the lowest point. You never jump down, right? So, and I feel like that's what really made plumbing craftsmen. You had that element of...
For guys like you, but when I'm doing a washroom and I open it up and they've cut all the tops of the floor joists out and it's just copper across there, I'm like,
Don't you love it?
Fuck did you just do?
Love it? Yeah. I would say we do mostly PEX nowadays. The only time you'll catch me doing copper is more commercial because it's all rated
High-rise buildings.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
high-rise,
need to do it.
even like restaurants and stuff like that. And just the last restaurant we did in copper, I was on the fence, but I still went soldered. And when I was soldering, when I was putting everything together, I was thinking like, maybe I should have went press. Maybe I should have pressed all of this because, when you're going fast and you're motoring, flux is all over your hands.
And that's another thing. Flux is no good for you, man. It doesn't matter how many times you wipe it away.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it
It's
corrodes
burning,
copper.
the smoke. Like, you're just like engulfed in smoke and
There's
stuff.
lots of things in construction that are not good for you, man.
Yeah,
There's
it's true.
silica dust. There's a bunch of stuff. I was
Yeah.
going to ask you, Rob, what are your thoughts on the heat recovery stack bullshit?
You know what, guys?
Bullshit.
Okay, hold on. So I think that
For people listening, this is a 3-inch pipe, waste pipe, that has a 1/2-inch copper coiled around it.
it's like 3/4 inch. So it's a 3/4. So it's a copper and then a copper piece of like 3-inch with
Yes.
like 3/4 inch,
Correct.
kind of coiled
Square
around it with
tubing.
3/4 inch in and out.
And it's on a line that belongs to a shower somewhere.
a main stack that's going to collect 2 showers or more.
Yes.
That's the ideal situation.
And the theory is that as you're showering, the hot water is going down there, and the heat from the hot water is being collected in the water that's
like a heat
coiled.
exchanger.
But now most of the houses are on demand anyways.
No. But this is just a hot water going down the waistline. What are your thoughts, Rob?
So I think, in my honest opinion, I think if you were building, like, say, something like a sixplex, and you were designing it, and you were designing a stack that was going to be designed. This stack is going to pick up 6 kitchens with dishwashers and possibly laundries. And you took all of those, and you're talking like, say, a rental unit. Who knows? It's going to be...
But here's the problem, that we just had an architect, and you were talking about the Ontario Building Code, so OBC. It's part of... You can get it in there for one bathroom. They're asking for it to be in one bathroom.
In that sense there, I think it just kind of doesn't make a lot of sense.
It doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do anything a whole lot. I think it's wasted because most guys aren't following the direction of how it should be used.
Yes.
So if, say, you were doing a massive custom home and it had, like, 8 bathrooms, and you could pick up legitimately
I would agree with you.
Rob, you're
3
brilliant.
bathrooms.
You're brilliant,
And you
dude.
insulated the lines,
Sure.
and you brought direct lines. I could see the concept,
Or radiant heat, and then connect it somehow through there.
But I think that it should not be a part of the building code.
It
I
shouldn't.
think it's
You're
bullshit
right.
that it is part of the building code. And I think that someone kissed someone's ass to get it into the building code. And
That's a scam.
and that someone's ass that was being kissed was by the person who actually fabricates these things.
Yeah, of course.
So you can look it up yourselves and do the Google searches and find out.
Big
and
scam.
this is regarding Ontario and all this other crap. But that's another reason why I don't like it. But I agree with you 1,000%, Rob, that if you were smart about it and you catch
Designed-
3, 4, 5 bathrooms,
Yeah.
then it makes a lot of sense because then it actually serves its purpose.
Because, when you especially, so the other thing as well, too, is all the houses, like everything we do now is throttled down to like 120 degrees Fahrenheit.
That was my next
So that's
question
what I was
to
going to
you.
say. If we were basing this where we weren't using mixing valves,
I fucking hate
the
mixing
heat-
valves.
The heat that comes out of that hot water, the transfer that you would get off of that coil would be massive.
Would be great.
Yeah, massive.
What are your thoughts on mixing valves? I understand the principle behind it. How
No one has common sense anymore.
Well, the thing is, you've got a hot water tank that's at such a hot temperature, it's creating certain types of bacteria.
Listen, guys.
Bullshit.
Listen,
you go
guys.
ahead and talk.
For
man.
to me, I'm not going to say yay, nay, hey. I'm going to tell you that things like that, I love it because things like that keep us in business. So I'm not going to sit here and be like this, that. Hey, man, like, you know what? Ultimately,
You're honest. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, buddy, like, I'll
It's
tell
true.
you. Yeah, buddy,
It's
that,
true.
that keeps
Let's face it. It doesn't matter what we say here. People will continue doing it, and we're not going to change that end of the industry. It's going to stay that way for now.
The thing is that you don't even need a mixing valve because it's like in a situation with a tankless, you're not getting into that.
But you don't need a mixing valves because also most of the times I'm always recommending, or actually I'm just purposely putting thermostatic valves at that point.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. My
So
next
a thermostatic valve is going to prevent you from scalding, right?
Yes.
So that's the purpose of a mixing valve. So why are we redundancy here? This is bullshit.
I think that's the corporations not getting sued for
Yes.
some stupid person
Yeah,
trying
but guys,
to sue them.
my biggest question though, my biggest thing, I'm mixing valves in this whole thing, so don't even get me started. Guys like us.
we want to get you started.
Okay, so guys like us have to obey these rules and have to do all this stuff. Why is it that big companies, as in the companies that you hear the big fancy commercials, hey, we install hot water tanks for like, $99 or $349, supply and install. Every job that I've done, you see them on my Instagram, they don't have mixing valves. So I'm like, I don't even know. Am I allowed to say their names on here? Like so we don't get sued possibly?
No, don't say the name.
Yeah, we're not
don't
going to
wanna
say
get
their
in
name.
trouble.
So those companies there, I can tell you numerous times that I've walked into homes with brand new installed hot water tanks. There's no mixing valves. So I was like, what would happen if this young child or this person got scalded? Who do they call? Are they going to call this company and say, hey, guess what? My kid got... This company's going to be like, that's great. I'm really sorry to hear that. What's this person really going to do? But a guy like me from Galaxy Plumbing, they're gonna call me,
Yes.
and there's gonna be we're gonna have a major lawsuit here, right?
Puts you out of business.
Yeah, or it makes my name bad. But
Yeah.
those companies there, I don't know.
Oh, don't
It's-
worry.
you
It
gotta-
doesn't matter how good you are. Someone will always try to sink you. There's always some kind of crap talk going on, and it comes mostly from my mouth.
Hey, listen, guys. One thing I've learned is, especially in business, you can't please everybody. You can try your best.
A lot of people keep telling me, oh, I'm going to get water on demand. And I always say to them, listen, do me a favor.
Nope.
Get yourself a small water boiler. I don't care if it's a 30 tank or a 50. At least get something for backup. It doesn't have to be on. If that system ever goes down and you don't have hot water for 6 weeks, at least you have another source of water.
Do you like?
There's a bunch of like these units all have these different names. So there's hot water tanks that are used. They store
Tankless,
water.
instant,
There's a hot water on
whatever.
demand, which it only fires when there's flow. So those are tankless, and then there's boilers. So boilers are usually only used as a heat source. So and then anytime you need to use that heat source, you're usually going to use an indirect hot water tank to store that heat. I would say generally I'm a hot water tank kind of guy. I believe in hot water tanks, but
I'm a hot water tank guy too.
But that's for a standard. If we're talking like a standard 3 washroom, 4 washroom house, I'm going to be hot water tank all day. If we're talking say a cottage, maybe a townhouse, we're talking maybe 1 bathroom, 2 bathrooms then you know what? A tankless could work in that situation there, especially if you're working with a cottage. You don't want to have a hot water tank there.
Have you found a tankless system that
Rob?
doesn't have any cold spurts in it?
Oof.
You could put a blanket around
I have
it.
yet to speak to a manufacturer to confidently tell me that their tankless system will not give you a cold spot.
I am so glad you mentioned that, because that was totally going to slip my mind about this conversation. So here in North America, that's another reason why I would go hot water tank over a tankless. Hot water demand is because our water is so frigid cold in the winter. For the amount of heat and energy that tankless has got to work and fire at that rate to heat up that water, how much energy are you really saving?
Exactly.
Right?
And this comes from Galaxy Plumbing.
Any other
I'm so
questions?
glad,
Dude,
I'm so glad
brilliant.
you brought that up, because that totally slipped my mind. Here in North America,
I love walking around to all the trade shows, and I love seeing all the tankless systems. They're fucking like beautiful cars.
Yeah, they're so cool.
They're so good looking. They're great and everything like that. But then I just go up to the salespeople. I go, prove to me that you will not get a cold spot.
Water tanks.
Okay? You can't. Oh, you can't. Well, we can put a little reservoir, and you can have the reservoir, and it can kind of... No. But then you're going to get my client who's going to take a shower using all of her body sprays, and she's going to get a cold sore, and she's going to freak out and call me up.
Every scenario and every installation, I think ultimately you have to look at every installation as a personal thing.
Yes.
What does this customer want? What
Yes.
do you want out of this? It's almost like when you get into like a Mercedes or BMW. It's like, are you buying just a regular series, or do you want performance? Are you the guy?
M-Series.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you want performance out of it, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I love these conversations. I'm so amped.
So I got a serious question. This one is
They're all serious questions.
This is a big one in the industry. So many amateurs are doing this wrong.
What is it?
What?
It's non-stop.
What?
We see it in every
What?
single... What is better? First, it's going to be like a three-question.
Three-parter?
Three-parter, okay?
Okay.
What's better, wax or rubber rings?
So if you're going to ask me, if it's a new install, you'll never catch Galaxy Plumbing using wax ever. If it's a brand new install, like if we're doing like brand new renovation, brand new...
Doesn't matter that the floors are not heated?
No,
never.
That was
never.
part
would
two.
never
That was part
ever
two.
use wax. Never. The only time you would catch us using wax, there's a place for wax. If you're
Emergency job.
I would probably say a
Amateur
wax
job?
No. So I would say a wax. We're gonna be using a wax as if, say, you walk into a Toronto home, you pull the toilet off, because when you pull the toilet off in older homes, you're always like, that anxiety's kicking. It's like, what's underneath this
Cracked
toilet?
copper, brass.
Cast iron, something like that. The plywood's rotted, and you're like, what are we gonna do here? That's when you're gonna want to use wax, because you're going to want to place that toilet down. There's not a whole lot that you can really crank the bolts, and then you're going to really have to be careful with it. But if we're talking brand new plywood, flange, everything, we're going black. It has to be black rubber gasket.
Rob, I have
and
so much respect for you.
And you could even double them up. Everyone's like, oh my God, you double up your gaskets? Like, yeah.
How about you?
We're kind of subdivision,
how about
man.
you
Like,
put
that's why, like, come on.
How about the flange should be a 1/4 inch above the tile?
No. It should always be, your goal is to aim for flush or a 1/4 inch below the tile.
I was always taught over.
No. I'm going to... Okay, I know this is what you plumbers want. But technically speaking, if you look it up, the flange should be... The bottom of the flange should be at the top of your finished floor.
Yeah, of course. That's your ideal goal.
That's the ideal goal.
Yeah.
So when you're installing, you should already know what your finished floor should be the height. So that will dictate the bottom of the flange will be on the top of the finished flooring. Most plumbers want it to be flush, because you can always add a second gasket if you wanted to, or add a filler, a half inch, and quarter inch.
So that's your ideal goal. So whenever we rough in custom homes, generally because it's a custom home, I want to touch upon custom homes after, because we're gonna have some fun with this.
Go ahead.
I would say that generally I'll usually always put in, as I saw you do once before. I was like, see, man, he knows. I'll generally use a piece of 1/2 inch plywood.
Yes.
And I'll hole saw it, put my flange on it, cut around it.
Or
and
how about
usually
don't put a flange in, just leave the tube and put the flange in after.
No.
You need solid material around there.
Yeah.
Because
But I'm saying you could have the Schluter already on there, and then you could be dropping it over top of that, and then when the tile.
no, I want it right to the plywood. I want it right to the
Generally,
plywood.
I don't mind adding a gasket. Like when I was taught that way, so I'm more than confident to have a 3/4 inch gasket and a half on top of it, and then put it on. You'll never have.
It won't leak. It's got the neoprene. It's got the neoprene on it. It won't leak.
Buddy, when you squash those together,
I know.
they'll never leak.
What about universal escutcheon plates? Flanges. The universal ones that you could put on top to raise them up.
Those are the flanges. Those are the
flange extension kits.
Yeah.
I don't
What do you think of them?
I don't use them.
Okay.
I don't.
Is there a reason why?
Because I don't need to. If I gotta put, like, say 2 gaskets and stack them, I'm fine with that.
But he already is asking those questions at the beginning. Where is the finished flooring? Where exactly do you want the height of it? What toilet is being used?
Yeah.
There's only ever been one toilet that I actually did that whole thing where I put the toilet flange exactly where it was supposed to be, and there was only one toilet, and I noticed that there was a small little defect in the fucking porcelain. And I literally just took a grinder to it, and it sat properly. But yeah, in all fairness, like, because I've been told by other plumbers, if it would have been flush, it would have been perfectly fine.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I grinded. So I can easily say I took a grinder to a.
But you grind everything.
Toilet. Yeah.
Hey guys, honestly, I don't really.
But I don't grinder.
I would say I don't really worry too much about the whole toilet with the flanges. And the only time you really got to be worried about that stuff is if you're doing a $5 million. It doesn't have to be a $5 million. I shouldn't even say that. If you're doing, say, a job and we're doing radiant in-floor heating with a pour, then okay, we got to be concerned about the flange. But if you're doing general, hey, we're doing scratch coat and general tiles.
Scratch coat.
Yeah, or Ditra, and the flange is a bit lower, like a 1/4 inch lower. It's like, okay, put a gasket, call it a day.
Just so for the record, me and Rob have worked together before, and he did an amazing job.
Thank you.
Bulletproof. We did a high-end condo, and he came in, and we put stand-up showers in the condo, and the condo owner, the building management came in and took a look at our work because they wouldn't allow anything just to happen. They said, this is an unbelievable job. We were the only people in that building that had Schluter, and you worked with it like a champion. Most plumbers work with Schluter in residential, but in a residential high rise, you by far killed it.
Did you also do a Schluter shower jar as well?
Yeah, we did a drain.
Yeah.
Nice.
It came out beautiful. Two of them.
One thing I wanted to say is with that project there, that Growy shower kit, like that, I would probably say if you're going to see Rob get angry or aggressive, I can honestly tell you, maybe because I'm not good with Growy, so not Hans Growy, because I actually really like Hans Growy. I think it's actually a solid product.
I was about to say I love Hans Growy.
I can legitimately tell you, it makes me angry, and I hate their product. Other than their iBox, I think the iBox is genius. The plastic and the fact that I literally have to be the engineer of your product. I'm the plumber. I didn't engineer it. So why are you giving me a book with exclamation marks with 30 pieces of plastic?
We had some fun, huh?
Yeah, that
we
one
had
there.
Some fun.
And that
was not an easy job. No normal contractor or plumber
I
would knock
honestly
that off.
legitimately blew my brains out over that because it was an exposed shower valve and it came with these threaded nipples.
Oh, to me.
I blew my brains out over.
Really? This is how they give it to you as a rough assembly?
It was an exposed shower valve, so we came out with 2 wingback 90s with nipples, and then everything goes on over on the finished wall.
Yeah.
So the threaded adapters to put this thing together, when I put them together, I was threading them in with Teflon. I'm like, they're not tightening. They just bottom out. And I was telling Carlito, I'm like, buddy, like, this is crazy. I've never...
With Teflon
Yeah,
on
but you know
them.
what?
Oh, yeah.
He handled it like a professional. He never left me hanging. and he did everything in his power to make
Did
it
you
happen.
figure
He
it
even
out
went
on
out of
your
his
own?
I
way.
did. I actually had to go to Growy, and I had to go to Growy, and I was actually livid with them. So I told them, so you think it's okay that a customer spends $2,500 on a shower kit, and now the plumber's got to figure out that you need a special, it might as well have been horsehair to do the threads. We need, it was a special product from, oh my God, they made Thread Locker. It was a special
You mean
product.
that Loctite stuff?
Loctite, the
Are you
same
kidding
manufacturer.
me?
No, but it wasn't that.
Okay.
It was the same brand from Loctite, but you can only buy it in Germany. Okay? I swear to God.
I picture Rob at the airport.
But
one ticket to
honestly,
Germany.
high-end customer. It was one of my really best customers. High-end customer. Like this guy had no budget. Well, he did, but they always say that
But
about
hold on.
$2,500 valve.
But the craziest part, though, the thing that made me the most very, very insecure was this is a condo on the 20th story or something. If these nipples are leaking behind the wall, we're never going to know until someone figures it out. And this water is live 24/7.
Never had a problem.
Yeah.
Never had a problem.
Okay, so
Galaxy Plumbing.
Two questions. Two questions. What was Growy's response to this?
Well, Growy's was, we're working on it.
Oh, so this is an in-progress kind of
Thing.
situation.
So they're like, you're telling me I had to spend my own personal time to come to your head office for you to give me a Ziploc bag with this special product. So you're telling me this shouldn't come in the Ziploc bag? Wound up saying, hey, you need to use this for the threads because they're a running nipple?
Okay, second question. Why are they called nipples?
I don't know, but I like it.
I don't know. That is a good question.
There is a lot of sexual kind of
You're
connotations in plumbing. You can take other trades, trim, carpentry, mechanical, and everything like that. Mechanical still has nipples too.
Trim.
Okay.
Carpentry. The pipe.
But in plumbing, there is a lot of phallic, nipple,
female,
female, male. There's a lot of that. Why? Why? And then at the beginning of the show, plumbers are the most promiscuous ones out there.
And maybe that's why that is.
Okay.
God damn it.
Because we don't have a lot of time, I want to get in as much as I can with you.
We have plenty of time. We have plenty of time.
I got a lot of questions. Rob, you're brilliant, man. I love it.
Oh, thanks, brother. I
So
tried, man.
here's another amateur move I want to talk about. I'm bringing up all the shit I see all the
Yeah,
time.
bring it, man. Hit me with it.
Fuck silicones the bottom of a toilet all the way around, or even I understand a little bit in the front, but in the back. What's your thought?
Okay, so I can tell you, I don't silicone toilets typically. I'm a big person. I always shim from the back. Well, everyone should always shim a toilet from the back.
Rubber shims?
No, I use, my trick is solder. I use lead-free solder. I'll round it a little bit around the back.
Interesting.
And then I'll just put it underneath, and then as I'm snugging it up, and I've never had a problem.
Hang on a second. Explain that to me. You're using
lead-free solder.
Solder as a shim?
As a shim. Because most toilets always have once you shim them from the back, it pivots it forward.
Yeah.
As soon as you get that, you're done.
Yeah, the porcelain's never perfect.
Know
Yeah.
that.
The porcelain's never
That's
perfect.
how I
because
do
it's
it.
baked, dude.
But that's how I do it. That's how
that's
I
a
do
great trick.
That's how I do it.
But you don't prefer to silicone it?
The only time you'll ever catch me siliconing a toilet is if, like I said, if we're dealing with an old subfloor, an old toilet flange, it's a little kind of wonky, a little iffy, and you can't overcrank it. Once you test it, you know it's solid. I got to give it the silicone, clean it up.
I've noticed that I've needed to use silicone when it's mostly mosaic finish flooring.
I never use it.
I'm just saying because mosaic is not absolutely perfect regarding
First of all,
flat.
molds, silicone molds, man. So you're just gonna have a place for it to grow.
Affix. Look at some of the new Affix.
Well, I know
you guys got to get on the translucent. The translucent
Which
silicone.
brand?
Masters. That's what I use.
Oh, you're using Masters?
Masters translucent.
Is it good?
I think it's amazing because you can't see it.
Is it really translucent? Because I had the shower glass guys going, I got this new one from...
Try it one day.
Really?
You know what? If you want, I got my...
No, I know Ralph at Masters.
Okay.
I can give him a call.
I got another plug.
Give Ralph a call.
I got another plug for you.
Tell Ralph, hook Ralph up with some
I'll say
translucent.
Rob just mentioned something and we mentioned it on the podcast. Send us over a case of Masters. All
Yes,
right?
translucent.
Another plug. I go to Noble and I buy these rubber shims. They're actual soft rubber. They're made for toilets. You stick them in. Once you get the wave out or the teeter-totter, you just cut them
But
away
always
and
from
they
the back,
disappear.
right? Always from the back.
That depends. You can actually put them in not to see them. I think we should move on from the silicone. Sounds like a dangerous area.
Yeah, it's a dangerous area. It's a touchy thing. But listen, every guy from time to time, you're going to silicone a toilet because, listen, if you have a customer, like I said, with the plywood's old, it's a little bit wonky, and you have a person that's a little bit heavier set, let me tell you, callbacks cost money.
They do.
They cost money. And remember one thing, if that toilet even has a slight wobble, as soon as you get a person on it, it starts to slightly move. Guess what's going to happen? It's going to leak. So once you know that toilet's rock solid, you get a little silicone, this and that. When that toilet sits and it's solid, it's never going to move and it's never going to leak.
I agree with him.
I like when people agree with me. Yay!
Hey, listen, I want to go through all the pros and cons that I've run into with plumbers.
Roll them out.
Yes.
One of my biggest pet peeves, okay? Plumbers come in and they throw their reciprocating saw and their chisels, their wrenches right on the brand new hardwood floor, man.
No, who does
Who
that?
does that? I've never seen that.
Does that?
I've seen
I've
this.
never seen that.
So listen, you know what?
You know-
those are guys that have not been taught properly. And even on Instagram, sometimes people take pictures of like, hey, check out my new sink or my I'm like, dude, why would you post that? Like, there's a fucking drill right on this person's countertop.
Thank
like,
you.
Why would you do that?
Well, and
if I saw one of my apprentices do that, I'm like, listen, we're gonna go outside right now. I'm like, don't let me.
I'll beat the shit
So-
out of you.
Yeah, like,
So
don't
Rob,
ever let me see you do
just so
that.
you know what I'm doing here is that me and Manny are making exercises here for people. We'll say things that we already know, but we'll pretend we don't sometimes. It's
Yes.
about bettering everyone in this industry.
Of course.
We're here to help everybody and
Of
give
course.
them options. These are hints, nudge, nudge, hint, hint. Bring some plywood, get a moving blanket.
Something like
roll-
respect the next trade.
Respect the next
Yeah,
trade.
yeah.
You know, we
I'm
had a
all-
whole
Trademarked.
segment on. We had the whole podcast on.
You know what? I think most really good plumbers out there, I really want, like, I know, like, all the good plumbers that I follow on Instagram that I consider my friends, all of them are using drop sheets. We're using,
Roll
like,
them off, Rob.
No,
Tell us who we should be following.
I would say 100% you guys need to follow Flush Inc.
Yes.
I love fucking Mr. Costa.
Costa?
I love Flush Inc.
Yeah.
Brian from Target.
Yes.
I would
I'm
say,
following both.
Yeah, Brian. I actually met Brian through Instagram. There's another guy. I've actually encouraged him. He needs to get on Instagram because his work. He messaged me off of Instagram on this install he did. He's like, dude, what the fuck is that? On this install that he did. Sorry.
He's loud, dude. Don't worry.
There's a bunch of guys, man. Like there's a bunch of guys on Instagram that are awesome plumbers. But I would say that those are two guys that
There's solid work, like yourself. There's
okay.
solid work.
Yeah,
a lot of pride. Is there a lot of pride in plum? Like, is there a lot of guys that just love the shit? Like, love the plumbing?
Yeah, man, for sure.
I find plumbers are very passionate.
Listen, I want to tell you
Back to
something about
infidelity.
Rob. I want to tell you something about Rob. So I'm at a store and I'm buying some high-end toilets and I'm getting some of my little things.
Was the store called Aren't We Naughty?
No. And I look over and some dude's staring at me and I'm like, the fuck's that guy looking at? It happened to be you. Do you remember this when we first met?
Oh my God, that was at H2O.
That's
I
right.
was like, oh my God. I was
Anyways,
like,
yeah.
My dreams were crushed because I legitimately thought when I saw him, I'm like, oh my God, this is the break. This is the break that I've been waiting for.
And I
the
failed
Mike
him.
Holmes show. You know? And I'm
How
like,
long ago was this?
Oh, this was.
Just when he pretty much started on his
Yeah,
own.
yeah. This was like.
Oh, wait, so you were still on the show?
I was still on the show.
Yeah, he was.
No,
So
I wasn't on the show anymore. We were doing Make It Right Construction.
Got it.
It was the real construction division to the
He
show.
literally looked at me like he was like, "Yeah, nice to meet you. You're a peasant." And
No,
and I was,
not at
No,
all.
I'm just
you did
joking.
not do that.
No,
Did you
I
do
didn't
that?
do
Never
that.
think
No,
that.
no, he was
I'm
really,
a
really
glorified.
humble.
I've been a glorified laborer. I don't want anyone ever thinking that. I'm on the tools.
You are
I
on the
just
tools.
I just finished
You
a
do most of the
12-hour
work.
shift. I could continue working. I'm working for free here to better the industry. I never would have thought that ever.
This
And
doesn't work.
actually,
I know you did. I'm just
This
joking.
isn't work.
Yes.
This
So-
is not work. This is fun.
Yeah,
this is
fun.
like I don't know.
But I met you, and what I was leading to is that you were really passionate already. I saw it in your eyes, and right away he was like, "Hey, man, You need a plumber? Give me a. And you know what? We work together. It just happened to be my business went in a different direction right now. But we're just falling back into place again.
And to be honest with you guys, like I know we're running short of time. That's why I kind of wanted to address this. Like, guys, like I love plumbing. I love construction. I love all this stuff. But like, I think right now in the direction that I think Galaxy Plumbing's moving in, like, we're not really taking on any custom homes anymore unless it's for like say a client that we've worked with before or a contractor that I feel really confident with. We're just not really getting into that. Like I'm more of like I like renovations more. I think the timelines are a lot shorter. We're like 6 months. We're not like a year and a half.
Wait a second,
are
you doing renovations now?
We do everything, but I think ultimately is where I'm going to be gearing Galaxy Plumbing, and I'm picking the lane, and I'm going to stick in it for a while now. Is really my goal is to be the largest in-home service provider in the GTA for plumbing. You know, I want to be right up there with Mr. Rooter, Roto-Rooter. Like I want to be up there. Like I'm just looking at it more of a business kind of decision I have to make. When it comes to construction, I think, you know, once I have a bigger crew of guys that want to do the whole construction bit, it doesn't take much for me to introduce myself to you guys and say, hey guys, Rob, you know, I would love to meet you. Can we at least, you know, share a conversation? And then, you know, give me a call. I would love to sit down with you and go over some stuff. Right? That's all it really takes.
You're mostly going to focus on residential renovations?
I would probably say residential renovations, and I would say in-home service plumbing. Like we're talking drains, anything like
something that happens.
Yeah, anything happens, like anything catastrophic. You know, just general stuff.
No waterproofing.
Waterproofing.
No.
Nah.
A lot of plumbers do it.
Yeah, they do the whole waterproof, but most of it's subbed out kind of thing. You know, but I think you're
already doing sub pits and you're
the sub pits, but
backflow preventers.
I'm going to tell you what I see for my future is that because I think when it comes to service, I think that it's the wave of the future. And I feel like whether at any point, if we hit any downturn in the economy, and construction will stop, it can slow down, it can do this. One thing, once you build a clientele with service, you're always going to have that clientele.
Recession proof.
It's recession proof. Yeah. And I'll never forget that center page ad that it wasn't even an ad. It was something in my union magazine. I probably saw a long time ago. I don't even read those union magazines, but I flipped it open one day and it was like the whole page was this one guy and there was like a shop and there must have been like 20, 30 trucks lining this shop with like guys. And for some reason, it just did something to me. I was just like, this was the guy that was working through the worst downturn and others since the American Depression. And they were working and it just did something for me. And I was just like, ever since then, I could still see it, you know?
If you weren't plumbing, what would you be doing? What other trade would you be doing?
Oh,
next to stripping.
You know, I'll tell you right now. Okay, so if I wasn't doing plumbing, I always joke around with my good friend Oris from Black Rock HVAC. I would be an HVAC guy.
Really?
Yeah, and the reason why I say that, I don't want to make everything about monetary stuff. So the reason why me and Oris met is because I love hydronics. It gets me excited, like boilers, pipe everywhere, heating. Like,
that's HVAC land.
Yeah, like it excites me. And I think there's a lot of science behind it. It's great. So I'd probably say HVAC, and I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of money in HVAC.
Yeah, there is.
A lot of money in HVAC. Hey, did you know that you need a HEPA filter with your furnace? Did you know this?
What are your thoughts on the fin, the Uponor fin?
I think it's a wicked product.
Yeah.
I think they still got to do a little bit more work on it, but I think it's a beautiful
Something to do, you mean like with the Wi-Fi, like the app enabling?
I think in the sense of it really thoroughly like starting to read your water and how the flow. Because I think in a catastrophic failure, I don't think it's going to be that in tune that it within, a minute.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. I think the rating on it I shouldn't say that because I don't know 100%, but in a catastrophic failure, I don't think it's that inclined that it would shut your water down.
Have you done a few of them?
We have, yeah.
Yeah?
I'm actually just got a brand new one today that I'm going to be installing next week. I think it's a gorgeous unit. It works great. I think it's very intuitive. I think it's awesome that if you're leaving, you just
You know about this, right?
Very pretentious.
No. But you know about this, right?
I don't.
The fin?
I don't.
It's a leak protection device. So on your main supply line coming into your house. So what's the smallest pinhole that it could actually detect if there's a change in the pressure?
Those are the fine details.
That they're still trying to figure out.
They're starting to figure that out.
So now is it a computer that water goes through?
It's pretty well a brain for your water.
Yes.
And it would be in your main
It's
Is it
attached.
off your water tank?
Yeah, off your main line coming in.
Okay.
Yeah, after the water meter, that's where we would
But
install
don't worry,
it.
Carly. You and I, and
It's a
probably
little
we'll get
box.
Rob
It's a
involved.
little-
We'll get Flush involved. We're
I've seen it, but I
we're
don't-
gonna get a chance to play with it.
Yeah,
So
for
we
sure.
can talk about it.
These
right?
are all personal opinions. You know, these are just different experiences. One thing I gotta hate about plumbers.
Their attitude
dirty
sucks.
fucking hands, man. These guys are touching. I just painted a fucking wall, and there's wax on the wall. They're grabbing my door handles. I'm not saying you, Rob.
No,
I'm
no,
talking
no, I
about
get it.
guys out there.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah,
They're not
totally.
wearing rubber gloves. And then I watched the guy after he just put a dirty toilet in or took a dirty toilet out. He eats a sandwich with his fucking raw hand.
Beautiful. It's
And I'm like, is that a
beautiful.
shit sandwich, bro?
It's beautiful.
Or what?
It's beautiful. You know what, man? Honestly, you know what? It's so funny. Like I almost like a lot of plumbers out there, like their attitudes. Some of them they need an attitude adjustment. You know, with how they kind of handle themselves, how they kind of go about things.
Well, that's getting
that-
to what Carlito wants to start asking you.
But
now.
that's their own thing, guys. I'm an open book. I'm probably one guy.
Which
like I
is
said,
what you should be.
Yeah,
No, but-
I kind of say what's on my mind, and that's
Even
what I
when
told.
we met and we did business together, there was no bullshit.
No.
You called it how it was, and you told me how it was. There was no tippy-toeing or fucking putting me in the wrong direction.
And listen, ask Carlito. Listen, guys. I love to help people. I probably say that's one of the coolest parts about being in business. I don't know. Even when I'm overwhelmed and I'm busy as hell, like even with that project there, if someone's in need and they're like, Rob, like, can you just, you know, I'm like, I want to help people. You know, I just love, like, if there's anything I can answer, is there anything like I can give you some insight to? I love it. I think it's great.
if you had a choice to change anything in construction, doesn't matter if it's in construction or plumbing, what would it be?
Oh man.
Dun, dun, dun.
In construction, in what sense though? In construction,
If you had the power, I guess, to change something in construction, doesn't
better
matter
it.
what it is, you just can snap your fingers and do that. What would it be right now?
okay, so what I would say is telling all the trades guys out there, the guys that love what they do, the guys that are passionate, the guys that go home at night and think about like, fuck, you know, if you could have did something better, it's on your mind. Like, you know what, next time or this, I'm going to do that better. Or I could have did this better. Those guys there, like, know your worth. Know your worth, you know, just... I don't know. I would say know your worth, man. Have confidence in yourself and what you bring to the table, the value that you bring, and don't be afraid to charge for your worth. You know, I feel like the conversations I have with some of my buddies that I was mentioning, like they feel like their attitude is like we're like stealing money from people. It's like you charge people for that. You're like you charge.
Wait a
You're
second.
not the first plumber to say that, you know that?
How about this?
Really?
How about they'll pay all kinds of money for architects, engineers,
But they'll question him.
technical smart programs, and then us on the tools taking in toxic fumes, chemicals through our hands, through our body, through our
But hang on a
nose.
sec. Let me stop you right there and there. In today's day and age, we are smart enough to
Yes.
know better, and
Yes.
there are tools and techniques and products out there to be better.
Yes.
It's just we're lazy and we're stupid and we don't want to. There are gloves that we can wear, there are masks that we can wear, there are goggles that we can wear, there are vacuums that are attached to pretty much every fucking kind of tool out there.
yeah.
It's just we're not being smart about it. So yes, we are in a hazardous trade career environment, but they are doing things to make this career better.
But even more important, and we've heard this a few times, we've said this a few times, we all need to stick together and say no.
1,000,000%.
If we don't start to stand up for each other so that we have respect for the guys that are honest, that pay their WSIB, that pay their insurance, that take the proper safety programs, that give their guys pensions and
that's what I truly believe in, and that's something how like Galaxy Plumbing is going to be built on. It's like I don't want my guys to work for $25 an hour. You know, like I want my guys to get paid $40 an hour, $45 an hour. They should. They should get paid.
But
in
they
this
should
day and
also
age,
produce for that too.
Of course,
for both the
of course, there's
homeowner
gonna
and for you.
Of course, but if you have quality people that hold themselves accountable, people that like love what they do, people like that are truly passionate and want to be the best at their craft, those people deserve to get paid for it, and it's a respectable trade. It's like without these trades, it's like you'd be living in unsanitary conditions.
Yes.
And that's why I tell a lot of guys, know your worth. And I think it's like, I don't know. Ultimately, I think it's like having belief in yourself, and I think a lot of guys lack that. And I feel like that's where I come in. I try and kick these guys. I'm like, guys, I'm like almost like your cheerleader. Come on, let's go, man. Like,
I think one of the things that all plumbers should work on across the board, it's general across the board with any trade, but typically plumbers, is take your garbage when you're done and clean up.
That goes
What
back
do you
to
think
respect
about
the next
that?
trade.
Listen, I 100% agree with you with taking garbage, cleaning up, throwing it in the bin, sweeping up, not leaving,
Dust everywhere.
This is a subject that, like, I agree with you. Me and Costa were talking about it the other day. He goes out and buys this beautiful Milwaukee Cyclone vacuum. I call it like Mr. Sale Guy. It's like every time the Reds having a sale. Dude, there's a sale, eh? I'm like, dude, they're going to have a sale in 2 months.
Did he show up at Mississauga Hardware?
Yeah, we both showed
You
up.
guys were both there?
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
both there. Costa went all out, buddy.
Was it crazy? Was it crazy busy?
Pretty
Yeah, it
busy,
was
but
good.
everyone gets horny for fucking sales, eh?
Yeah,
Like, they're giving you a
of
battery.
course.
Like, dude, they're gonna give you a battery in a month from now. Like, come on, man. Like,
But
that's
okay,
marketing.
so back to that cleanliness thing. I think that every single tradesperson, doesn't matter what trade it is, you should have a broom and a dustpan.
Yes.
Your initials should be on it. You
Yes.
make it unique yourself.
Yes.
And you should also have a battery-powered vacuum.
Or how
A
about
little
this?
small one.
Listen, guys,
You should.
I believe in the
Yes.
dustpan, clean up after yourself, but listen, the fine-tooth dust,
No.
you're going to have a cleaning company come in
Yes,
and clean the
yes,
house.
yes.
That's where I'm like, listen, guys, as long as I'm not leaving the counter where there's shavings
Yes,
everywhere.
yes.
Rob,
If it's- Come on.
out of everybody that you worked with me, I take 1 mil plastic with static electricity,
Yes.
and I put it over everything.
Everything, yes.
Floor protection. I never allow money to dictate me keeping a house clean. That when I pull it away, the homeowners are like, it's better than when we. This is just about educating people, motivating people. I love everything about you, man.
Thanks,
I really
brother. I
do.
appreciate it, man.
You're one of the good guys, Rob.
Thanks.
What kind of advice can you give to somebody? Me and Manny talk about this all the time with everybody. And
Let me just clarify something. We don't do everything together. That's
no,
all
no,
I'm
no,
just saying.
no, we don't
Okay,
like do
okay.
it together, but we spend a lot of time on the phone or texting.
Yeah, that's
he's-
cool.
You know what? I respect him, and he's one of my dearest friends.
You guys are both obviously.
We have the same goals.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
This
some
is all
goals.
an act. It's
Some
all an
goals.
act.
I got to tell you guys that I respect you contractors so much, and I love you guys because I'll tell you right now that you guys have the hardest job out of all the trades, because you guys are not only the GC, you're like almost could be the therapist.
Wow.
You got to be the diplomat. When shit hits the fan, you can't be sometimes me. I can lose my shit and freak out and throw a tantrum.
Do you really?
Yeah, I have my moments.
Like what? What would it have to happen for you to?
You know what? The biggest thing is some of the people that have put me in these situations where contractors think that we're just hanging out by the phone waiting for them to call us to come back and finish their job. And when they call us, they're like, hey man, I can't get you in for like 2 weeks or this or that. Whoa, what's this? And they start freaking out. It's like, listen, let's calm down. Let's pump the brakes right now. Because listen, if you can't get your own business in order, and if you can't figure out your own stuff, like I'm sorry, like I can't help you. You got to have respect for everybody in their time. If you can't figure out your own stuff, you need to take a course, slow down, and organize yourself. And getting back to you guys have the hardest job because you have to organize, you have to get the quotes, you have to present them to the customer, you have to do the walkthroughs. And if I was a contractor like you guys, like a GC, I wouldn't even sleep at night because I'm like, did the plumber crimp the fitting? Is the gas leaking? Did he break my tiles? Like I would like
This guy's got to come back.
No, it's come on, man. I give you guys a lot of credit, and I honestly at times feel bad for you guys because like all ultimately, like, all of us get paid really well, but like, you guys really have to be a little bit of every trade. And I feel like
we
guys
move in for a long time.
Yeah.
You guys are in and out. We have to stay.
And you have to also deal with the client's expectations like through the project and afterwards. And if you hired some trades that are kind of like, you know, Mickey Mouse, they don't care. Ultimately, that falls back on you after.
Yes.
You know, and it's a tough one.
No,
like,
I agree with you. I'm envious of you guys because you guys come in and you do a great job and you do a detail of that
and you
job.
make a lot of money.
You make a lot of money.
And we do. And that's why with you guys, I really.
But you chose your trade wisely.
I did, and like Kevin O'Leary said,
that matters.
Become a plumber; they get rich. You know, so I'm gonna stick with that.
Did he actually say that?
He did say that. He did say it, so I'm gonna stick with that. It's almost like my intuition told me when I was a kid.
You know, it's funny. Something Manny said earlier. I was building the Yuck Yucks and Red Room on Richmond and like John Street, and my wife would come with the kid and visit because I'd be there for 16 hours in the middle of the night building this place. And I'd be like to the guys, where's my wife? And they'd be like, I don't know. And I go, is there a fucking plumber in the building? And she'd always be up there with the plumber.
Holy shit.
And I'd be like, I'd come up there and I'd be like, what the fuck you doing with the plumber? Anyways, what I was saying earlier, and then I had
Wait
a brain
a minute.
fart.
What was she doing?
No, people are very curious about plumbing. I'm very drawn to it too. You know, like I like seeing it, how it's being put together. I like learning things.
I think it's fucking awesome because it's like you get the like.
I have
there's
respect
just
for plumbers.
such a sense of. I think that's probably one thing I've always loved about plumbing. There's such a sense of accomplishment and pride. Like when you go, you do something, you look at it. It's like I almost feel like, especially when it comes to residential, when it comes to plumbing, you are the engineer.
Yes.
You are.
That's the fascinating part to me. When I see a plumber actually dissect and figure out how this flow is going to work and how this venting is going to work and how it's all connected when you're dealing with 3 bathrooms plus a powder room plus a laundry room plus a sump plus everything, and they just figure it out. You are an engineer.
But Manny, the plumbers across the board have the shittiest job, literally. And you have to have respect for that. Like,
you should have saw my story today on Instagram. I was like literally in a crawl space and might as well have been in this. I was in a bodysuit dragging myself underneath, and I made but hey man, I'm not afraid to throw it down, dude. But I do anything.
Me and Manny are trying to encourage all ends of the trade industry. We found flaws in our own personal businesses and in other people's businesses. You come from something, it's going to be a different opinion because you started in a union and had benefits.
I'm so grateful for that.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to really open people's eyes up that they need to start saving, they need to start investing, they need to start working on their future. A laborer, a business owner, it doesn't matter who you are. What advice do you have for someone for retirement?
The guys are just
not even
started.
young ones. There's old ones like me that need to get smartened up.
I would probably. I'm so grateful and because of the family and the upbringing that I was brought up in, and just the things that I was shown and everything like that. I would say that real estate's really important. It's really cool. I think you really got to pay attention to your money. You know, like look at your bank account, like dissect it.
Money makes money.
Money makes money. And the thing is, it's so easy nowadays to say, hey, I need this, I need that. We got to do this, we got to do that. But look at the bottom line. Like ultimately look at the bottom line. Like where's my money going? You know, do I need this? Do I need that? I would probably say the biggest thing for me I've learned since the time I was 18 till now, there's probably 2 things that stick out to me, and I would probably say one would be faith, probably above anything.
Just believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself and just have faith in what you're doing, and have faith that if you give it your all and you keep going and you never give up, that you will get there and you will get what you want. And always have pure intentions. Really pure intentions. Like be a good person and help people.
Sorry, I just add one more to that. Don't ever be afraid to start all over.
That's so true.
Because
I've done it 4 or 5 times.
This is easy to say this at 20 years old when you're getting started, but you can go through life and life can fuck you, and you can have your hilltops and you can have your valleys, but don't be afraid to ever start all over again.
You're 100% right. I couldn't agree with you more, because that's probably the attitude. Ultimately, I'd probably say, because of all the things that I went through as an apprentice, all that stuff there has led me up to this day where I'm sitting here with you guys. And if it wasn't for all that stuff, the faith, the perseverance, how many times I used to go home thinking like, fuck, I'm such a shit plumber. Like, am I ever going to be good at this? Having such tiny hands.
I can't envision that. No, say
I'm
that
serious.
to yourself,
But
really?
those were the things, because when I started to learn how to rough in and having really tiny hands at 18, handling 3-inch pipe and how to make everything proper, it was hard. And it was those days where it's like,
I said to her.
Yeah. And it was like, I'm gonna do this. And if it was those days now, looking back, it's like, those were the days that have led me up till this day here, because of me having a business now. I never thought 10 years ago I was going to be a self-employed. But I think when you become self-employed, you have to look at it as you are starting the first day of an apprenticeship. And you have to take it hard.
It's
and
true.
While you're taking it,
it's true.
While you're taking it, you better be open-minded. You better be listening to what people are saying. You better be thinking about what happened today, how I could have made it better. It's a new apprenticeship. It's
Take
day
the next
one.
day better. Come back in the next day better.
But and also come back with a sense of like, I don't know shit, because that's going to keep you humble and that's going to keep you going and moving forward. Because
us in our late 40s are still sponges. We love learning. I mean, we're doing these podcasts.
I'm learning every day,
we
man.
love doing these podcasts, and there are a lot of work to do these podcasts. That's just a fact, right? To just
a lot of volunteer work.
Well, yeah, it's like we're coordinating. I bump into you, and all of a sudden I see you, and I go like, "You got to get on the show. We got to talk about this stuff." And then we record the podcast, and we edit the podcast, we post the podcast, we share the podcast. But we're doing this because we want to add value to the industry, right? We really want to do it.
But not only that, one thing that we've both talked about is that, Rob, you're gonna affect somebody that's listening to this in a positive way. And if it's only one person that we could change their life on this podcast, we've done our job.
Save your money. I would say save your money.
Be aware of your money.
Yeah. Be aware of your money, of course.
Yeah.
Be aware. And you know what? You don't have to go out every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or Thursday, Friday, and get loaded. Like, buddy, thank God I wasn't going out every Thursday and Friday with some of the guys I used to hang out. These were guys that were going out and blowing $500, $1,000 in one night. And I'm like, buddy, like, I can afford to do this, but it's like, guess what? I would rather have my money investing it. Thank God I did. And I was always a person that if I was going to spend money, I kind of wanted to see something.
So another comment, I really want to tell people, you answered the question brilliantly.
Thanks, brother.
But I really want to stress to people on such a great note, you never know when you're going to get hurt. You never know when you're going to break your back, when you're going to break your legs, when you're going to get a disease, when you're not going to be able to move and pay your bills. This is that important to listen to everyone and anyone that tells you, save your money, invest it, get some real estate, do something smart.
Share the knowledge.
Time flies really fast. And before you know it, you're like, why didn't I listen?
And one more thing, if I can add to that, is hang out with people that are better than you and people that have a vision that you see them. They're talking about exciting things, bigger things. Hang out with those kind of people.
Tell me who you walk with. I'll tell you who you are.
Yeah. Well, that's the saying, right? Like you become the average of the five people that you hang out with, right?
And if you don't like who you see, then leave.
Yeah, leave.
So,
yes.
I got a serious question for you. It always ends at the end of the night.
We're ending this.
And
one?
I'll tell you what Manny's answer is to this.
Okay, let's hear it. I'm curious.
Okay, no.
You have a full day at work and you are filthy, covered in garbage from construction all day, and you want to take a bath. Do you take a shower first, or do you take a bath first and then a shower?
You take a shower only.
I don't take. I don't take.
If you're gonna
baths.
take a bath, do you take it first and then the shower, or shower and then the bath?
Bath first, shower second.
I would probably, I would go with the bath first, relax, and then just go rinse off.
Disgusting. You're gonna roll around in your dirt.
Oh my God! Oh wait! Hold on! my
it's
God,
only
you
personal.
got me there. Oh, you got me there. You're right. I totally missed.
There's no right or wrong answer.
Oh my God.
Honestly, I half the time, if I ever have taken a bath, I go in dirty too.
Yeah, let's get dirty, man.
Right up to the neck, baby.
Yeah, let's get dirty.
A serious, really serious one.
That was a serious question?
No, that was just a joke. That was just you know me, I love joking.
Really important. There's a lot of people, it doesn't matter what age it is, 18, 20, 30, 40, 50, looking for a job. They're looking to become a plumber. What kind of attitude should they have, and what are you looking for?
We've been talking about it during the whole podcast.
But I want to hear what he's looking for for an employee. So say right now someone's listening and they're like, shit, he's looking for plumbers.
How many
what kind
guys-
of attitude do you need to have?
How many guys you got on the crew?
2 guys.
You and another guy.
Yes, sir.
For
That's
now.
it.
Yeah, for now.
For now.
I've been trying some guys off and on right now. I've had a few guys come in. I've also been very lucky that I have a very good network of plumbers, and that's probably what I've used thus far, is having the network of guys that off of Instagram, and some guys that are my buddies that I'll bring them in when I need them, and then I'll usually have my guy with me, and then we'll just kind
How
of.
long's that guy been with you these days?
Hasn't been with me that long, like probably like 8 months.
Okay, so it's working out.
It's working out. It's
3
working
months
out.
is the period.
But I would say being an employer is pretty tricky, and I would say that there's definitely a lot of growth that you have to do for yourself. And I'd probably say the biggest thing I've learned in life now from being self-employed is this is the best course to self-development, is being self-employed. Because when you're self-employed, you can't blame everybody. You can't be, it's because of him this happened. It's because the first person you should be blaming is yourself.
me $10,000.
Yeah. So the first person you need to look at before you look at anybody is look at yourself.
In the mirror, man.
Yeah, and give yourself an honest look.
You only get what you give.
Yes, exactly.
Isn't that a song?
It can be if you want to rap it.
Wait, hold on. The other thing I wanted to add to this conversation before I forget it is, guys, anybody that's self-employed out there and that wants to have a thriving business, one thing I can share with you that I've learned is it's great to work hard and get on all this work and do all this work. But I'll tell you right now, not that I know anything, because I really don't know shit. I don't.
Yes, you do.
But
You know a lot.
one thing I do know is a lot of the work and the growth of a business doesn't happen at work and on the job. It happens
my
off
God.
of work.
You're
That's how you
so
start to see
right.
vision
That's
and
true.
building, the numbers,
Brilliant.
the this. If
On
you
the
think,
toilet.
Yeah. If you think
American
if
Standard
you think,
or
Kohler.
yeah, man.
Okay, so
I've got one question.
we're curious.
I've got one
okay, you got a
question.
question? Go
Okay,
ahead.
let's have it.
What are your thoughts on Instagram?
I would say that I can truly tell you guys from a guy that was very like before was kind of like a little negative when it came to tech and like all this stuff with social media, but I would probably say I am so grateful for Instagram, because I would consider some of the guys that I know off of Instagram my friends. And the community of plumbers or tradesmen on Instagram, like, come on, guys, man. Like, the technology we have today, back 20 years ago, we are at such an advantage. That's why now, if you are not taking advantage of this, you are missing out. Like,
I agree with you.
You are 100%
And just
missing
ignore
out.
the
pissed.
haters.
I'm pissed.
Ignore the bullshit and just focus on you and everybody that's on Instagram or anybody that's on social media. You are not a copy of anybody else. You are so fucking individual. You have your own personality. Make your own. You've done your own. BlackRock does his own. Bryant does his. Carlito. Everybody does their own. Just make it your own. Use it for what it is. And who gives a fuck about how many followers you have? Who gives a fuck how many likes you have?
You're
just share your
And
personality.
be careful
so-
what you're viewing, because they'll show. A lot of people are showing the best picture
I
that
know.
they can get out of that camera. But you go to their site, and I've tried to see
Garbage.
many guys to take on to like work with, and I am disgusted. And I hate saying it. It sounds like I'm a hater, man, but I am.
You're a
because
hater.
I can't find the guys I want to work with. When I see their work, I'm just like, What the fuck was that?
Everybody
Listen,
wants
guys,
to be a celebrity.
Listen,
It was a
guys.
great
When,
pick.
when guys call me on the phone, I already have questions. Like we go through the whole thing right on the phone, so we know right off the bat. None of us are wasting each other's time. We have the quick conversation, and we know, are we a good fit? Should we meet? But I would say, getting back to Instagram, before I was so like overwhelmed, like I gotta have like 3,000 followers or 10,000 followers. And I was like, why don't I have all these followers? Now I'm thinking like, dude, like, what does it matter? I'm like, post your stuff. People see it. It's there. And then I've been really having fun with the stories. I've been trying to give value to people, but I've also been trying to show my personality a little bit, like doing a little my thing.
That's 1,000%, man.
You know?
Just focus on that.
Manny was one of the first guys that I added on Instagram. Like, come on, I don't even know what the hell I was like looking at. I see this shower, and I was like, what the fuck is this shower? The one with the rounded, like, what is that thing? The niche?
Oh, the niche, all the curves.
When I saw that, I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Yeah, I was like, okay, follow.
I love that shower.
Yeah, it was, but
you
I
know
love
what?
that shower.
But you know what? Those are the things that inspire people.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, man.
So really curious, and I'll speak for Manny again.
Yeah, okay.
What nationality are you? He wants to know.
I would say I'm an Italian Canadian
I was
or
about to say,
Canadian
he's gotta be
Italian.
Italian, man.
Yeah,
No?
Italiano.
we have this ongoing joke. Like,
Yeah, everyone seems to think I'm from Woodbridge, or I would be like something from that
No,
area.
No, he thought you might be Portuguese.
we're always
Portuguese.
hoping Portuguese or Croatian. It's just a joke.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a big joke.
So one thing that needs to be said is that Manny usually collects all his ABS pipe, and then what he does is he makes potato shooters and shoots
Oh my
them
God,
at
can
his
you
next
invite me
door
one
neighbors.
day? But you need to come by my house.
Can you not tell that the bullshit light is on right
I
now?
want to see the potato launcher.
The bullshit light is on right now.
We should make it a
full of
rocket
shit.
launcher.
Carlito has that in
No,
his
I just
van.
wanted to throw that in because anyone that's out there that's a plumber and has all that ABS, you can make a wicked potato shooter out of
Guys,
it.
guys, can I add one more thing?
Go
'Cause
ahead.
I'm not going to be a hater, but I needed to throw this in there about custom homes where everyone's like, I do custom homes. This is a custom home.
Please.
It's like, listen, buddy, let's really be honest with each other. The custom homes most guys are building nowadays, you might as well, like, it's a
Garbage.
It's a subdivision home.
Yes.
Okay. Just on a larger scale. So let's calm down. I'm building a custom house. It's like, no, you're building a subdivision
They're
house.
looking
okay?
for a title.
Yeah, a title. And yeah, that's ultimately
You know-
what it sounds fancy. I'm a builder. No, I think everybody,
custom builder.
everybody that's got a pickup truck that puts a custom homes is a builder. It's like you probably did one bathroom and you're working on your first home. Okay.
Rob, the truth is the most successful guys I know don't watch TV, surf Instagram,
I don't have cable.
and don't tell anybody who they are.
Yes.
People know who the fuck they are.
Yeah, I fucking love it, man.
That's the kings.
Yes.
You know?
Did we cover everything about plumbing? No, hang
No?
on a sec.
Oh, okay.
Did we cover everything about
No,
plumbing? Is
no,
there
not at
anything else,
all.
Rob, that you want to say, that you want to share about the construction life?
I would say.
What do you honestly think about our podcast? Do you think we're full of shit here? Do you think that we are not making any difference? Or do you think, I don't know, am I putting you on the spot because you're here?
I'm on the spot right now. I would say that you guys are 100% honest, and I love that. I love the honesty. You know, you're
Thanks,
like,
buddy.
You know, like I'm all about like honesty, transparency, and I think it's all about lifting each other up. And I think it's all about the communication.
But Rob, these are conversations you and me had too.
Yeah.
Like we're at work, we see a problem and then we're expressing, but then we never share it with anybody, and everybody needs to hear it. You know, we need to be on the same page, fix the problems, recorrect it. and thank you.
100%. I honestly, communication's everything on a
I
job
got another
site.
question for you, Rob.
Yeah, let's do it.
What do you think about the rental TV shows out there? Are
You
there
know
any
what?
good ones?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm really not gonna lie. I don't like them because I don't have cable. I don't watch TV. But when probably 5 years ago, I used to watch a lot of them. I really did watch a lot of them. I'm not gonna lie. I used to think about like if I would have started Galaxy Plumbing maybe 8 years ago, 10 years ago. One of my good friends actually happened to be the plumber for that show or made the introduction.
Who's that? Dan?
No, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it off air. But I was like, that would have been a good introduction to that business, right? But you know what? Honestly,
But you know what? You and me.
hold on. You know what though? There is something to be said about those shows because I haven't posted these pictures up on Instagram. I have pictures from a couple rentals that customers brought me in just to inspect their rentals. And if I show you the pictures after, you'll see that the shit that
From
you saw
the shows?
on Mike Holmes' show. No, the stuff that I've seen. This is not fabricated shit. Like I have joists that look like toothpicks because a lot of people are like, oh, these shows they're like fabricated or they're overextended. No, I actually have a lot of pictures of real life jobs that I've gone to see for customers that if you looked at them, you wouldn't even believe it. I'm going to show you guys.
Wait,
after.
hang on a sec. You're losing me. You have photographs of work that was done on the shows?
No, not on the shows. But when people watch the shows, some people are like, "Oh, this is made up. They didn't really fix this stuff, or it was fabricated kind of stuff."
Got
I've
it.
seen jobs that will tell you, like, no, there's people that operate.
There's some
like,
crazy people out there.
You would not believe. My MO is fixing bad contractors' garbage.
Yes.
I cannot believe what I do weekly. Honestly, like I was on that show you're talking about, like people didn't believe it. And I'm like, there's garbage
But, okay,
out
but
there.
hold on, listen, guys. But like when we're getting into this kind of conversation, everyone needs to understand that everything comes with prices.
There's
Comes
context.
There's context to
Decisions.
that. Decisions, and a lot of people,
Homeowners.
a lot of people think that they want to go for the cheapest price. They want to do this. They want to do that.
They think they're being
Ultimately,
smart.
They think they're being smart, but hey. Go
They're
learn
not.
on your own.
They're not.
Exactly. But some people have to learn the hard way.
But people also have a problem with paying a plumber $40 an hour.
They do.
What?
And $40,
That's nothing.
$40 an
No,
hour.
I'm just saying they have a problem with that. They do. They
And
honestly have a problem.
plumbers' rates are
and that's fine because guess what? One thing I realized in business as well, the thing that's going to make you feel the most best is not every customer is going to be your customer.
Exactly. Learn to say no. Learn to say no.
Okay,
Exactly.
but also saying that.
You're not getting every job because you're the best, eh? Remember that. You got to look at the price factor.
But also to remember something, out of 10 customers, we don't know which one will be with us for life.
Yeah.
So treat them equally.
Of course.
And know when to walk and know when to say no.
Oh, 100. I just walked this week off a major renovation in Rosedale. I wanted to do it. 3
What
site
happened?
meetings with the client and the contractor. And I told the contractor, I'm like, listen, I'm out.
Why?
I just because it's like
Feeling.
we went there, we looked at the scope of the work. Okay, all of a sudden the scope became even larger. Looked at it again, provided an estimate. They're like, okay, looks pretty good. It's a little expensive, but you know what? The contractor's like, this is the plumber that I use. I trust him, and this is the crew that I use. They're like, okay, great. Let's go with it. Met on site one more time. Make the material list. Let's go. I like to go in there for another day. Go through the layout, and then he's like, no, the customer's having a hard time with this. So ultimately, I just decided, I'm like, thank you so much.
Having a hard time with your price.
With the price and the overall scope of work. They want to shrink the scope of work now. Maybe we're not going to move fixtures. Now we're going to do this. And I'm like, if this is the entry into this job,
It's just going to get worse.
it's going to get worse. I have a business to run and I just don't have time to be
It's not
stuck.
Galaxy babysitting.
Yeah.
It's Galaxy plumbing.
Yeah, exactly.
On that note, what are your contacts?
How do we get a hold of you?
Oh my God, I feel like I'm a celebrity
No,
now.
man, you gotta just share it. Share it. How do we get a hold of you?
At Galaxy Plumbing on
social,
on
Instagram?
social, on
Website?
It would be www.galaxyplumbinginc.ca.
Email?
Rob at galaxyplumbinginc.ca.
Phone number?
416-464-1740. Call me anytime. If you have a question, we'd love to help you.
One of the best plumbers in the city.
And thanks, guys.
Give him a call.
Yeah.
Hire him. Just get him on your job site. Get him on at your home. Talk to him. He'll teach you. He'll educate you.
If you have any questions, just call me anytime. Let's share a conversation.
Perfect.
And the truth is, I've had experience with Rob. and his business, it is unbelievable. He
Thanks,
will
guys.
not be taken.
Guys, this I just
This is
want
a, this is a
Thank
true,
you very
true
much,
tradesman.
sir.
I wanted
Thank you very
to
much.
say thank you to you guys for having me out, and this is really cool. I really enjoyed it.
We'll have you
I
back
want to
another
say-
time, man. We
and
have
I-
to have you back another
I
time.
just wanted to say maybe before Christmas.
I don't know if that's
Oh my
good.
God.
We're booked.
The
We're
Christmas
booked.
song.
Oh, yeah.
The
I'm
Christmas
just,
song.
I know the Christmas song.
Oh my
He
God, that
started
Christmas
it.
song,
Great.
you kiss, are you kidding me,
Absolutely.
dude?
Carlito. Thank you, Rob. Thank you so
Thanks,
much,
guys.
man. Let's get out of here. Guess what? This has been our very first 2-hour-long podcast. Peace. Well worth it. And I hope you guys make it all the way to the end to listen to it, because this has been an amazing podcast. And
Yeah, 416, baby. T.O.
High five, baby. Yes. That's funny.